Welcome to the Adelaide Footy League's Community Match of the Round. Today we are broadcasting from the Henley Memorial Oval for the Breakthrough Mental Health Division 2 clash between the Henley Sharks and the Glenunga Rams. We thank our broadcast sponsors, Dartfish, Australia's most used coaching tool, Filming Footy, live stream and matchday filming specialists, Sports Interactive, creating better players, one coach at a time. Catch.com.au, screaming good deals. Interchanger, run your interchange like the pros. Adelaide Starbus, here for all your sports transportational needs. And Archie's Footwear. Now please welcome your commentary team, Sean Jackson, fabulous Phil Hurden, and our boundary rider, Peter Walsh.
Well, g'day footy fans, you're looking live at the Henley Memorial Oval, scene of our broadcast this afternoon. It's round 13 in the Adelaide Footy League, the Breakthrough Mental Health Foundation Division 2 match between the Henley Sharks and the Glenunga Rams. Right now you've got the B-grade game occurring where the hometown Sharks are leading by 31 points late into the final quarter. My name's Phil Hurden. Thanks for joining us today. A battle between, well, two sides going in different directions. The Rams are on top of the table, 11 wins, 1 loss, while the Sharks have lost their last 5, including their last 4 on the road. They'll be glad to be back at Henley this afternoon. Joining me in the van, the Filming Footy van, thanks to catch.com.au, screaming good deals, 4-time premiership coach, always a legend in these western suburbs, part of the world, Sean Jacko Jackson. Welcome, Jacko.
Thank you, Phil. Great to be here at Shark Park. I was here Monday night, would you believe, running a session with the Henley Women's. Let's hope the men don't play like the women, but they certainly look all right. The girls at Henley, they've come good under a good mate of mine, Desi O'Dwyer, has been coaching them.
Desi O'Dwyer?
Yeah, they've had a couple of wins in a row. So looking forward to this contest. First Div 2 game we've seen all year, Phil. Mail on the street is that Div 2 is a very young competition, and that's evidenced by Glenunga, top of the ladder. Got a 16-year-old playing today, which will be terrific to see. And a few other teenagers in the team as well. So very young competition. Apparently they like to play a very defensive style of game. So I hope it's not like what we saw last night, because if that's footy, you can stick it.
Thanks for that. Yeah, plenty of comments about last night for some strange reason. Low scores will do that. Also joining us, and it's great to have him part of our team for the first part this season. What sport he hasn't covered probably isn't worth covering, and it's great to have him running the boundary for us this afternoon. Peter Walsh. Welcome, Walshy.
Thank you, fellas. An absolute delight to be here and to think about Glenunga, known as the Rams: respect, attitude, mates and success. And they were grunting that out when they were getting ready to run onto the ground for the reserves. A lot of emotion in the change rooms, and when the emotion was there, it was time for me to move on.
Did you get a tear, Pete?
They're a powerful unit. But the fascinating thing, as you fellas both know, you meet personalities at football venues, and I didn't realise just how close the two coaches were. So they were having a chin wag, ignoring my questions, and loving the fact that they live around the corner from each other. But today is warfare. Good luck to both of them. But Glenunga, sitting on top, only being beaten by, or only losing one game, would go in as red-hot favourites. Just a matter of who will kick with the fog in the first quarter. Win the toss and kick with the fog.
There is actually a bit of a link there, Pete. Michael Wunke, who now plays for Glenunga, was an assistant coach at Woodville West Torrens. Vinny Regolo was coaching the reserves with Michael, and Michael was best man to Nathan Grimer in his wedding. So there are some strange connections between the two clubs, that is
look,
for sure.
It's extraordinary. I actually worked in Tasmania when Nathan played down there for South Launceston.
Yes.
And I wasn't aware of the fact that Nathan had Holly, who was the link to the Grimer family, and she played for the Opals in the highest quality women's netball being played around the world. So here we are heading for Tokyo. How good's that?
Thanks for that, Peter. We look forward to more nuggets like that through the course of the afternoon.
Got a few, hadn't he? Got a few stored up.
He's got a truckload full. So let's have a look at the teams. The Henley Sharks, first Henley team back in 1899. There's been mergers, folding, league changes, re-establishments. It's quite a story. The current entity, formed in 1994, you'd remember this mob, Jacko, Henley Greek.
Yes.
Henley
indeed.
District and Old Scholars Footy Club, and the Greek Footy Club demerged with Camden and merged with Henley.
Yes.
Last Div 1 Premiership 2010, Div 2 in 2017. Few famous names in there. Warren Treadray, Matty Pavlich, Brodie Smith.
Michael Broadbent.
Matty
Broadbent, sorry.
Matty Broadbent, just to name a few. So how have the Sharks gone in recent seasons? They spent a fair bit of time in Div 1, did drop in 2016, came straight back up as the 2017 Div 2 Premiers, dropped again in 2019, finished third last year. 19-2, that's a pretty impressive record.
And coached in 2017 by Jared Buffer-Wright, who's now coaching South Adelaide. So a bit of a link there.
There is this link sort of close with Henley and Sandford. Henley used to be known, I think, as the Eagles C grade
They
side
did, yes.
for many a time. How about Henley this year? Well, it has been a tale of two halves of a season. Started 3-0, first loss to Glenunga. Lost their last 5, as you can see. They're all by fairly reasonable margins, but the last 4 have been on the road. Now, they're back after 4 straight road games, and they have 4 of their last 6 here, where they have a 3-1 record. So maybe not all hope lost as yet for Henley. And Jacko, what team will the Sharks put out this afternoon?
Well, let's hope they put a better team out on the park than they've put the last couple of weeks, because that loss to Scotch College pushed them out of the 5. They've held on to the 5th spot for probably a month now with those consecutive losses. But last week, finally saw them fall out of the 5. You look at their side, and there's some real experience in the back half of the ground. Look at the half-back line. Tommy Pillion's a good young footballer. James Lean's the captain. And Tim Broadbent, he's won 4 best and fairest across the half-back line. For me, that's their strength, along with their on-ball. So Jack Enright, West, Jake Cook, who's a Crows top-up player, and Jessen in the ruck. They've got a really good, strong starting midfield. I'm not sure. We haven't obviously seen them play this year. We've got M. Miller there at number 18 at full forward. That'll be Ethan Miller, actually. E. Miller back into the side this week. Big lump of a lad. I've coached Ethan at school footy years ago. So he may, along with Jackson Smith, straighten them up a little bit in the front half. Paddy Sinor, good player. 3 times he's done his knee. He's back for the first year back after 3 knee reconstructions.
Wow,
so
3.
Yeah. So, they've certainly got the height in the front half of the ground. I don't know why they have fallen away as badly as they have. But, a good coach, Vinny Regolo, will be saying to his boys, we want some sort of reaction to last week's terrible loss to Scotch College, who are bottom of the ladder.
Quoted in the Times during the week that they'd lost a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And said the senior guys are doing all right, but the young kids are the ones that need to stand up. 17 of this 21 played last year. 9 played Div 1 footy 2 years ago. So
wow.
Experiences there.
Yeah.
Peter Walsh caught up with both Vinny Regolo, the coach of the Sharks, and Nathan Grimer, coach of Glenunga.
It's the coach's corner. What a corner it is too. No fog and no mist. That's gone, and we're in for a game of footy with substance. And I've got 2 gurus who've got some substance too. Nathan Grimer, who's been to every football ground in Australia. G'day and welcome back.
Yeah, no, I was just having a good chat about your time in Tassie, which brought back some good memories from a long time ago. But yeah, I actually only live around the block here, so I know Vinny well, and this is where I actually come and kick the footy with my kids. So yeah, it's nice to be close to home, and yeah, it should be a cracking contest.
You've changed a bit, but has football changed a bit since you started running around?
Oh, I'm sure it has. I think you were saying you were down in Tassie when I started playing senior footy in about 02, 03, and I was a skinny forward then with a fair bit to say, and I quickly learned as a full-back just to put the arm across and try my best and keep my mouth quiet. And fortunate enough to, as I said, move over and play in Adelaide in the Sandford, and then obviously went back to Melbourne to play in the big league. And then I've been loving my time in the amateur league here, and I've got a great group of guys and a great club, and as I said, we're looking forward to today's contest. It should be a cracker.
Vinny, slow out of the blocks. It's like you were the red greyhound and you missed the start. Now, what are you going to do with only 6 rounds of football left to make sure you can figure in the F word, the finals?
I think it's got to get back to the contest. No greater contest than Glenunga out here. They've only lost 1 game for the year. They're on fire. They're warm favourites today. So our boys are gone out there with an attitude. We've got nothing to lose, and we'll throw the kitchen sink at them and see what comes of the contest at the end of the day.
How do you beat a side that's been sitting on top of the table and is rolling along merrily?
21 committed blokes together, and hopefully a coach that's switched on, and Nathan might pull a few tricky moves, and we'll try and chuck a couple back at him, and yeah, it should be good fun out there.
It sounds like you and Nathan are, and I'm being serious, good mates.
We know each other. We had a couple of beers together across the time, but yeah, great bloke. And I know Nathan, living around the corner, probably would have loved to coach Henley, but he's at Glenunga now, and I'm at Henley, and look forward to a rivalry for a long time to come.
Okay, and a final one for you, Nathan. You're sitting pretty at the moment, but that doesn't mean anything when you get to the finals. What sort of form will you be carrying now for the last 6 weeks before you go to the finals?
Yeah, absolutely. We're fortunate to get early wins, and we respect Henley as a really good team within the league. And for whatever reason, results haven't fallen their way. But if you look at our games, we've won a lot of close games as well. I think a lot of our games have been decided by under 2 or 3 goals. And as a coach, I've been on the other side of those, and all of a sudden the losses are mounting. And the biggest challenge for our group is to ensure these guys realise that how tight the comp is. Seaton had more shots than us, probably should have beat us. Scotch had us to a point in the last quarter, and I'm under no illusions as to how even the comp is. It's a great competition. We're just fortunate that where we are at the moment, that we can almost lock in finals, but from where we've come last year and where we thought would be now, our aim is to win as many games as we absolutely can, and just like Vinny said, it will be whichever team has the more committed 21 guys, because the talent within both groups is pretty equal in this league, and as I said, we've been quite lucky with some results, and hopefully that luck stays on our side today, and we can get another win.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Vinny. And just a quick one. At half-time, a special guest, Courtney Craney, joins us in our coverage of the F-word, football.
Thanks very much, Peter. We thank Vinny and Nathan for their time, and not too often you actually see that close to a game, Jacko. The 2 coaches being interviewed together, they both look pretty calm and comfortable.
Well, both coached for a while now. Nathan was at Sturt for 2 years, I think, was he? And Vinny's probably been at the Eagles for 3 years, so it's not like they're rookie coaches. So, good to see. And at the end of the day, Phil, it's a game. It's a game we all love being involved in, and it's terrific to see them both with smiles on their faces. Not sure we can guarantee that'll still be the case at 4:45 this afternoon.
They'll be crossing the white line pretty soon, and we'll see what happens. The B grade game is still going. They should be off. We should be having a warm-up, and it has just finished. There you go. Henley, 14-2. Hope they kick like that in the A grade. That's 86. Glenunga, 6-8-44, so 42-point wins. Let's go to Glenunga. The Rams, or shall we call them Hyde Park, which is what they were called when they started in 1954 in the East Torrens Footy Association. Moved to Webb Oval, their current home ground, in 57. Joined the Amateur League as the 28th club, 1960. Won the A3's first year, won the A2's second year. They were in Div 1 pretty quickly and changed their name to Glenunga shortly thereafter. They are a well-travelled team, Jacko. They have played in every division from 1 to 7. 60 years since their highest A-grade flag, which was the A2s in 1961. Maybe a chance the anniversary this year. And how about their junior setup? Now, this is under 16s and younger, 39 teams.
Yeah, I only became aware of this yesterday. They are the biggest junior club in South Australia now. Yeah. So they've surpassed Golden Grove and Tea Tree Gully, which is amazing. They've got 3 ovals, I believe, that they train on.
Need them.
But to have a club that is that big in the eastern suburbs, wow, they're doing something right, and it's only a matter of time, Phil, before they become a Division 1 powerhouse, you would think.
You would think, especially when you have a look at how they've gone in recent seasons. They've done some stuff here that no one else has done. A few years ago, Div 4 went down to Div 5. Then look at that. 2017, Div 5 premiers, Div 4 in 2018, Div 3 in 2019, and then got very lucky with their timing. Winless last year in a year without relegation.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I hope Nathan Grimer doesn't go top, because the last 2 coaches that have taken him top have been sacked straight after winning the premiership. Johnny Cunningham sacked after winning the Division 3 premiership in 2019, and Brian Lee sacked at the end of 2018 after going back to back. So success as a coach here is not a recipe for getting reappointed the next year.
Well, they have made some changes. Let's have a look at what they've done this year, and you'll see a lot of wins coming up there. Their sole loss to Foss Camden round 8 by 7 points, 11-1 record. 4-1 on the road. They do finish, however, away from home 4 of their last 6 games. If there's something to give Henley some hope, the last 5 games, the average margin's been less than 15 points.
Yeah,
so
like
keeping it pretty close.
Yeah, like every side, they've had their challenges with injury. I know Michael Oneke's not playing today. Kim Edwards is not playing. Both lads with some SANFL experience. But we all understand if you're going to win in premiership, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be able to put your best 21 players on the park each week. So that's the challenge for them. Look, no question, the record over the year has been sensational. The one loss to Foss Camden by 7 points, I believe it was a game that could have gone either way. So for all intents and purposes, Phil, they could have been undefeated at this stage.
They are the front runners at the moment. Let's see how they line up for this week.
Yeah, so the key forwards, Nick Onekey and Michael McMahon. Michael McMahon is probably as good a player as it would be in Division 2. He played 50-odd games of league footy at North Adelaide. Kim Edwards we've got on the diagram there, but he's not actually playing. He's a late withdrawal. Got a lot of young kids in their side too. You got one that I'm really looking forward to seeing play today, Jack Matchett, and he is number 20 actually. He's changed his number from when we put the slide up. Halfback flank, 16 years of age, Phil. Really looking forward to seeing this kid play. Saw him before the game. He's a lump of a lad. He'd be 6'3", I think.
And he's not the only one. Number 26, James Tregarkis, is also 16 years of age.
Yeah, wow, that's unheard of to have 2 16-year-olds in the same side. So they bred him pretty young out at Glenunga.
They do indeed. Let's have a quick look at Division 2 as we wait for the coin toss. The game is running late. You can see Glenunga there on top, 11-1. Henley out of the 5 by 2 games. The other games today, bit of a separation Saturday for mine, Jacko. A team in the 5 is playing a team out of it. Broadview hosting Scotch. Seaton hosting Old Ignatians. Athelston now on their home stretch hosting second place Foss. Sacred Heart and Salisbury probably the closest in terms of record. And then there's our games. Any surprises you think in that group today?
Yeah, well, as in surprise results? Well, if I was sitting in Henley's box at the moment, I'd be really concerned on the back of what's happened the last 5 weeks. Because, as we mentioned before, they've dropped out of the 5, and if they lose today against Glenunga and Broadview beat the bottom team, Scotch, there's be a 2-game gap between 5th and 6th, and with only 5 games to go after that, it starts to become difficult.
Alrighty, so it looks like we've got the captains going out for the coin toss. We'll have Walshy keeping an eye on that. We're hopefully not too far away from a start in this contest. Of course, the other game being streamed today is at Rostria. We've got Tony and Vince, the community crew there, as we see the coin toss.
I tell you what, Phil, just as well that Alex Harams won that toss, because I thought if James Lean had a 180, he would have picked the coin up and put it in his pocket. Don't mind the odd dollar, James.
All right, let's go boundary side to Walshy. Let's find out about the toss, the weather, and his prediction.
Well, the way things are going, I don't reckon I'll be home for the last of Globe Derby.
Is that still going, Globe Derby?
It's been a long and drawn-out affair, but importantly, guess what? Glenunga have won the toss, and they're kicking to the left of screen, or up where the hedge is, or up, if I look to my left, where the big sign for the Ramsgate Hotel is. They have won the toss. I should mention, too, a couple of significant milestones, or 3. Steve Pryor, a central umpire, his 500th game today.
Cut it out.
Jason Rigg, 200th game for him, and Brenton Jarman, his 100th. Well done to all of those who cop a fair amount of verbal abuse. We give it to them all, but they just go out there dressed up as Kermit the Frogs, and they do the right thing. So congratulations to all of those umpires. And I reckon we might be a chance to start the game within 5 minutes. And I'm going for the top of the table Rams.
Thanks for that, Walshy. Have we told Walshy about our great umpiring exploits?
No.
Maybe another day.
That's over a beer, that one.
Just the umpires for the A grade this afternoon will be Paul Smith and Liam Benning. Boundary umpires would be Edward Milsom and Sebastian Malia, and the goal umpires Samuel Turney and Nicholas Rogers. As mentioned, Henley 5-6-1. The big game for Henley, look, they'd love to win today, but next week they play Broadview here.
Yep.
And that's for all the marbles
Season
for mine.
defining. Yep.
If they don't win that, they won't be playing finals. What they'd probably want to see today is a competitive effort and something where they don't lose too much percentage, because that could also play a big factor in that battle with Broadview. We thank our sponsors. Post-game, while she's going to go and interview our winner of the Archie's Thongs and the Dartfish Beanie. And we also thank our other sponsors, Filming Footy and catch.com.au. We're ready to rock and roll, and your caller is Sean Jackson.
Yeah, James Wunke it is, up against Harris Jessen. Jessen first hands on the ball. He hits it to Brodie Kiddo, and he knocks it forward. And it looks a mark taken very early on. They'll be pleased with this start. I think it's big Ethan Miller back into the side this week. It is, of course, Ethan. Fine lump of a lad. Brother played a little bit at Nord and Glenelg. Here's Ethan, 45 degrees. Looks good over the ball. Here's a good kick of the ball, and that one's no exception. And there, it actually looks like Pillion to me. I think we've got the wrong Guernsey number here.
16, there he is.
16, was it? Tommy Pillion, I beg your pardon. Yep, Tommy Pillion. Had the pleasure of coaching Tommy at St Michael's, and a good kid, good family. Would you believe his dad's name's Tim and he's Tom? And they got a daughter and her name's Tammy. Tim, Tom and Tam.
And Jack.
Right. Okay, so we've just had a couple of late changes to
know how
Guernsey
to
numbers.
change jerseys on us at this level, but so be it. What Henley needed to do, strike first. They're up 1-0. They're kicking to your left of your screen. In the navy blue shark tops, Glenunga in the away strip, which is the white with the light blue ram. It's going to be free kick to the Sharks. Patrick Sinor with the kick across to the outer side. Glenunga are claiming the ball, but it is a Henley free still. We'll go back to Jack West. They're going to bring it around the back to the captain in lean. Looking for some open side here. Bailey Clarence pretty much in the centre now. They bring it out to the clubhouse side. There's your lad, Ethan Miller.
Yep.
Long sleeves. Note that one down.
He's trimmed down a little bit.
And he's got it to Lockie Sheffield.
Okay, unfortunately they've turned it over though. Glenunga have got it, courtesy of Nick Wunke. Now they go through the corridor, searching for Michael McMahon. And why wouldn't you? He's one of the best players in this competition. He kicks a lot of goals. I reckon that will fall a little bit short. Lincoln Bennett's there, goes on the left. Too much time given to him by the Henley defender there. Needed to close the space. Made it too easy, and that's Glenunga's first. To Lincoln Bennett. Nice transfer of play from the half-back line, but it started with a turnover from Henley.
Some very quick movement from the Rams off that half-back turnover.
Yep.
And in the end, just Bennett had all the time. There's two Bennetts out there today. Number 1, Lincoln Bennett. And coming into the side, number 23, Liam Bennett.
Okay.
So, got quite a few families with similar initials
Yes.
related to this footy game. We're back in the middle. If you've just joined us, some early scoring, 1 goal apiece. Nice tap by Jensen to the back, but it will be Glenunga with the clearance to the top of the 30. Thump away from Miller. Now it's into open space. This gives a chance for McMahon to pick it up. Tackled straight away, goes to ground, ball spills free. Umpire says, I'll take it. Right on the Glenunga 50-metre arc. Weather today, fog in Adelaide to get us underway. Has now thankfully cleared and appears pretty pleasant. We'll have to ask Walshy. He looks pretty comfortable out there on the boundary line.
He's sitting there drinking pina coladas, Walshy.
He's all set. He's done his job now. He can relax and do the game.
Yeah.
How is the weather out? Actually, Walshy will cross to you at the next break. As Glenunga go inside 50, Henley have it, they'll clear. And we'll bring it straight out in the Walshy general direction.
Yep, Sean Baker it is. Lays it to Jack Calabro, who's been very impressive this year, Jack. He's had a terrific year. Now it's Timmy Broadbent, brother of Matthew Broadbent, as mentioned in the intro, 4 times best and fairest player here. No player has won more best and fairest, I believe, at Henley than Tim Broadbent. Glenunga have it, switching the play out the far side. The strength, they say, is the way they set up behind the ball, so I'm interested to watch that as the game unfolds. Darcy Mitchell has it now. Goes towards the boundary line, and good luck trying to find who that player is.
We have a blind spot.
And he's behind the tree. Players get set. That is a dead set Falcon, and has hit number 10, which is Lachlan Sheffield, straight in the snoz.
We might just go to Peter. And how's the weather out there, Peter?
Ed, there's a little bit of mist still left over from those who drove to the wrong suburb this morning because the fog meant they got lost. But what I can tell you is the two coaches standing coaching just inside the boundary line, giving the instructions to their runners. They're only probably about 50 or 60 metres apart from each other, but they are totally involved and we can hear every instruction that's being passed on.
So there's no swear words, Peter. Glenunga have it now. Oliver Gas-Barron has it on the half-back line, searching for players. Ford goes long in the direction of Nick One-Key. Why wouldn't you? He's a lump of a lad. I think they're 4 One-Key brothers all playing for Glenunga. Glenunga only 2 today, but 2 that'll come back into the side. It's on the half, it's in the middle of the ground, almost on the boundary side. Henley just unable to push the ball out into real space, so in the end I think we'll get a ball up. We will. And number 17 for Henley, Jackson Smith, been a fine young player too for them.
225s go at it and ruck. James Wonke got some sort of a pass out, but Henley will get the kick forward. I think it's at their 50-metre arc. Standing tall is Zach Smith. So no sort of fence down that end of the field. It's a big enough area for the teams to warm up, but good luck from this angle trying to spot where the boundary line is. You just have to tell where the people are. You hope that they're on the right side. Bo Schwartz, we think in the back pocket. We'll come back to Schwartz now. And here comes the kick down the wing. Intercepted. Timmy Broadbent quickly switches play, trying to set the Sharks up on the City side of the field. Kick from West finds Kiddo. He swaps sides, but finds the target. This is a Jensen who plays on. They're keeping it going here, Henley. Enright with the kick to the top of the square. Bounce is going to be critical for Jake Cook. As soon as he touched it, 2 Rams came at him from either side. That would have hurt. Will be a ball up, 20 out, straight in front.
Well, nice transfer of play. Zigzagged up the ground a little bit for mine. I think in the end, effective. They're at the top of their goal square, but Glenunga get first hands on it. Plenty of numbers around the ball. No one able to get any clean purchase on it, so we'll have a restart. Still inside 50 for Henley. They'll be wanting to maximise the opportunity here. Rucks go at it. Ball heads towards the boundary line. Henley on it first.
Corso.
Adrian Corso, was it? Yep, whips it around the body on the left foot, and that goes through for a point. Puts Henley in front. Blow the siren, says Vinny Regolo. Blow the siren and end the game. Henley in front by a point. 5 weeks of misery finished.
What was your tip?
Oh, we didn't go into tips, did we?
No.
Glenunga by 8 points.
Yeah, I did. Look, I think we all tipped Glenunga. If you're 11-1, you deserve to be tipped until you lose, pretty much. Big pack flies here. A couple went up really early. That was Sheffield stayed down, got the kick forward. Staples with a hand pass of hope. So Mitchell to Staples. Staples with the kick. A lot of navy blue here if they can work it out. To Lean. Lean looking for some space in front of that eucalyptus. Is it a eucalyptus? Yeah.
I think we're going
to. It's going to get a lot of touches today.
We're going to call that the no-go zone. In fact, we'll get Pete to tell the players at quarter time the ball is not to be played in front of the gum tree because we can't see it from our.
I think Peter should do the play-by-play.
Yes, correct.
He's the only one who's got the angle.
Anyway, the ball heads towards the gum tree. Maybe if we could break into song or have a little ditty that comes in. Yeah, that'd be nice. But anyway. The umpires decided to ball it up, and as I mentioned before, Henley 1-1 in front. 8 minutes played, Glenunga just the solitary goal. Both coaches, as Peter mentioned, parading up and down the boundary line. Like to see coaches sit inside the box and get out of the way so they don't block our view. Phil?
Well, there really isn't much for this. Not like a grandstand here that you can go and get any height advantage unless you want to climb on the roof of the club rooms, and I think that'd be a bit precarious. Speaking of precarious for the Rams defence, tackle 20 metres out. Jumping on it was Schwartz, got the hand pass. Now they work it cleanly. They're going to go right up the guts here, the Rams, wasting no time for their second inside 50. Oh, avoiding it well was Parsons, the Rooster recruit. First touch, first kick, first goal. Nicely done.
Yeah, a bit stiff there, Jack Calabro. I could see what he was trying to do. He was going to peel out the back and try and cover the hole, and it fell short towards McMahon, so he then tried to push up on him, was too late, and game over. You can see him. Who was it then?
Parsons.
Parsons, yeah, did it nicely, didn't he, Parsons?
Well, he's one of those last season transfer windows. Let's go to Walshy.
Fellas, no shortage of animation from both coaches. In particular, Nathan Grimer very, very involved verbally with that flurry forward, and eventually the goal was scored. And as soon as it was, I think he flicked a bit of the old beads of perspiration off his brow. They needed that goal. It's been toing and froing. Not much breeze, maybe a zephyr of a breeze blowing to my right-hand side, but it's been a good tight scrap played in conditions that continue to improve.
Right, Baker that was from Henley that blasted the ball towards the goal square, but all the numbers were Glenunga, and they were able to cleanly take that ball. As a consequence, we're coming down the near wing. Number 35 for Glenunga got set pretty early there. Fletcher Wiseman almost took the mark of the century. I'll tell you what's interesting too, we might get Pete to keep an eye on this. Glenunga look like they've got a female assistant coach.
There's a few flying early at the moment. I wonder if they know they're being streamed. They're looking for that great goal of the week nomination.
And mark of the week.
Yes. So right now by that boundary side, you can see some heavy tackling at low level in front of the interchange benches.
Paddy Sinor there, number 9 for Henley. Looks a little bit like Sean Baker from this distance. I'll probably get those confused. If I do, I apologise in advance.
Tackle out of bounds. So 11 minutes gone. Glenunga by just the 5 points. It has been more down Henley's end of the ground than Glenunga's. I think Glenunga are 2 goals from 3 inside 50s, and that's the danger. Jacko, they look pretty formidable up forward when they get it there.
Yeah, I'd love to get an inside 50 stat count when we can, because I'm with you. I think Henley have had, and having said that, James Lean, the captain of Henley, has just received a free kick off the ball, and now, in fact, the umpire is going to take it off James and head towards Adrian Corso. He now has the free on the half-back flank, which just stemmied a nice challenge from Glenunga. He's gone backwards. He's gone 20 to 30 metres backwards in the direction of Kyle Nicol. He's gone now over the far side. They've created a little space. Jack Calabro, drop punt, nice. They still retain possession, haven't advanced any further. Inside 50s at this stage. Henley 6, Glenunga 4.
Okay.
So not a lot in it, but that is a very, very good mark by Ethan Miller with the long sleeves. We won't get that wrong again today, I assure you. But once again, the Glenunga defence is pretty good, isn't it?
It is.
All the long kicks have been marked by Glenunga. They're going to need to do something structurally about that, Henley.
Let's find a different way home. At least it's not quite Port District's level of forward structure just yet. Nice play by Schwartz there. Bought time when he didn't really have it. Across to Lincoln Bennett, wearing the number 1 jumper this afternoon. He puts the boot into the Burley. Downfield and pushing the back will go the way of Glenunga. So this is where they're dangerous. They're about to go inside 50. The free kick.
Yeah, against Luke Gray, I think it was.
No, it's going to go to Luke Gray. It's going to be Sharks' ball.
Pushing the back, yep.
Gray, one of 3 changes for Henley this week. Comes into the side. Nice kick. There's found Sinor.
Paddy Sinor, Joey Sinor, captain of Woodville West Torrens'
Eagles,
brother.
they're at home to Westies today.
Yep.
So Sinor would have been a Sharks junior, the Eagles Sinor that is.
Certainly,
Kick to Kiddo. Kiddo to the top of the square, but gee, they're taking some good marks, and they're not really uncontested marks. They're just outmarking the Henley forwards, and already they're moving at Jacko pretty quickly down that city wing.
Well, this is a lot of last week about this game so far, and that is that Henley are going really well in the middle of the ground and switch the play nicely in the back half, but when they get the long kick in the forward line's not working for him. Miller hands it off to James Lean. He comes out this side, which is good. We've got a clear vision on Adrian Corso. Has it, plays on nicely. Takes him on, I love that. Beat 3 of them there, lays it off. Can't tell you who it is got it because the gum tree is in the way. I think it's Tom Pillion. He's gone short. And
Sinor.
Paddy Sinor. Here's the long kick that's been putting him in trouble. If we could have an elevated view, we might be able to see what actually Glenunga are doing behind the ball, because that's what everyone says, that their shape behind the ball is what Nathan Grimer's brought to Glenunga. Their defensive action has been very good, and we've seen that already, haven't we, in the first 14 minutes. Henley are unable to penetrate the Glenunga web.
And they've cleared it out of defence, I think, just about every time. This is with Mitchell. And pass, kick. Will set. Oh, Bennett a task. He was up for that. He just sliced through the two Henley forwards. Through the middle, then kicks long. This has been their modus operandi so far. Tapping it inside 50. The Rams are just going forward with speed. Although coming in now is Gray to repel. Kick, though, not too far. I'm not sure even if that went 15. Umpire says, I'll pay it. Jack Scott has it. He doesn't wait for the umpire to confirm. He just goes bang from the 50-metre arc. Well, just like that, another inside 50, another goal for the Glenunga Rams.
Yeah, that was pretty good passage of play, wasn't it? Pete, what do you got for us?
Probably the longest kick we've seen so far today. Scott breaks clear, and then when he roosted the ball, I think the jubilation was extended by the coaching bench and his teammates for a goal that was needed, because it's been an arm wrestle at the moment. Conditions continuing to improve, and this constitutes, they've only lost one game, the side that sits in the top of the table, but this is a good scrap being played in sunshine that is improving all the time.
Yeah, and 3 goals for Glenunga from 5 inside 50s tells you that they're pretty effective when the ball goes in the front half of the ground, and conversely Henley are struggling, and this will be another example of that. They go kick it, instead of kicking to advantage, you kicked it over the head of his player there, but the next ball was important, and there's still numbers here for Henley. Might be a chance off the ground. It is. I think it might be Paddy Sinor, is it? Let's kick that goal. It's a long way up that end of the ground.
We might have to go to the Simon Black Academy replay.
Could be Cody Eagle, actually. Let's have a look. Long kick that was poorly directed, but went over the head. Ended up with Tom Pillion. He snaps it around the corner, goes over the top of the pack. Plenty of numbers this time for Henley, and it is, in the end, it's Cody Eagle who gets the goal, and that's his first, I think, Phil, and much needed goal for Henley, puts them back onto 2 goals, 1 trailing Glenunga 3 straight.
Yeah, needed 1, having conceded the last 3. That's his 5th goal in 6 games. He's kicked 16 at reserves level so far this season. One of the ins for the Henley Sharks. So back to the middle, the Henley Memorial Oval here on Cudmore Terrace. Just down the road from the Henley High School and at one end, and St Michael's College at the other. Nice position to be if you're a footy club, to have those two institutions handy.
And they've done very well out of both of those schools over the journey, there's no doubt about that.
Yes.
Free kick to Broadbent on the half-back flank here. They'll probably switch the play. They've been pretty good at that in the first 15 minutes of the quarter. He's looking for options. Not a lot down the line. Glenunga very well set up behind the ball here, but he has found someone through the traffic there. It's Brody Kiddo. He now goes on 45. Much better skill rate there. They retain possession of the ball. So this part of the ground's been pretty solid for him. He brings it back into the middle. Ethan Miller has it, licks the fingers. Don't know why players do that, lick the fingers, especially on a wet day. Going to be licking grass and mud off the hand, but maybe Mrs. Miller should have fed him this morning. Big Heath. Long. This is the kick that's brought him undone today. Let's see what happens on this occasion. Much better contest in the air by Henley. Ball hits the ground. No side able to take it, but I think the umpire's pulled out a free kick to our last goal kicker, Cody Eagle. He has. He goes short on the 45. Brody Kiddo has it now. He also comes back across this side of the ground. Tim Broadbent has it. Lowers the eyes, but all the numbers again to Glenunga behind the footy. They've set up exceptionally well.
Schwartz dropped it, but had enough poise to recover, get the kick out of the 50 zone. At ground level, that is Lucas Tragakis, not to be confused with 16-year-old, I assume, brother James Tragakis. And it's going to be Henley free. This is in the way of Jensen, I think, has kicked it across to collaborate. They're trying to kick it around to find a passage inside that 50-metre arc. This is with Ethan Miller. Have they got some room on the outer side? Kyle Nicole goes with a kick towards the playground pocket, the northwest pocket. I think that's Jack West who's got it, or Kiddo, with the kick towards, well, Tom Pillion. It was about 4 back. There's a lot of players. They knew that was eventually where it was going to end up, as the Sharks took the scenic route to get there. And in the end, Jacko, it's a ball up.
Yep.
About 20 metres out.
Yeah, I've got to say the last 5 minutes they've resurrected the front half of the ground a bit, Henley. It hasn't come out quite as cleanly for Glenunga, and saying that, the umpire's just given a free kick. But we've seen a few more restarts in their front half, and that's what they want. They just want the forwards up there to be able to bring the ball to ground and the little blokes be able to lock the ball. I've
certainly noticed that one-on-one contests, Glenunga's marking ability, clearly superior.
Yeah, they've got them in the air down there at that end of the ground, haven't they? So they have it now. They're going to head towards the gum trees. I am the home amongst the gum trees, and lots of plum trees. Forget the next line.
Doggatoo or a kangaroo?
Oh, that's it, yeah. Can you remember who sang it? Don Burt?
No, he didn't sing it. It's his show.
All right, James Lean has it now. Back into the centre. As I said, this part of the ground's been pretty good from. They go out the far side. Can they find something here? Lowers his eyes, just puts it on Pillion's head again. So, just a couple of times, Tommy Pillion has come out and they've just gone over the top of him. So if they can push the ball in front of him, it will certainly make his job easier.
Time on. Pretty entertaining first quarter.
Yeah.
Sharks, we thought the slight possibility it could be a rout, and at one point it started looking that way, but the Henley are giving as good as they're getting at the moment.
Yep.
Jessen with the kick inside 50. Who's there? Oh, it's the crummer, Harvey Friel, the bouncing ball! Ooh. And just the own goal to Bo Schwartz saved Henley scoring their third. They've got a 2-2-14. Glenunga a 3 straight 18. It's a 4-point contest with the underdog doing almost all of the attacking.
Yeah, they're certainly having their fair share and a fair go at the moment. And that's what Vinny Rigolo, the coach of Henley, would be looking for on the back of last week's effort. He'd be looking for a side that's going to crack in, and they're certainly doing that. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, their front half is getting a little bit better. So, long kick from Glenunga. Pack forms, no one able to take the mark. Ball spills forward. Plenty of numbers around this contest, and that player's been driven into the back by
Jack
Calabro. Not sure what he's doing up there. He normally plays full back, so he's come a long way down the ground and given away a free kick. Having an exceptional year as young Jack, and a terrific kid. So, Glenunga searching for McMahon. He doesn't take that one cleanly. I'll tell you what, he looks like he's hurt himself too. He's put his hands straight up and head to the bench. Pete will get you to keep your eye on that one, because he's probably the most important player in the Glenunga side, McMahon. Here he is here.
28 goals from 11 games, plus all the work he does around the ground. As we've got the ball up centre wing, in front of the club rooms here. And nothing untaken. The players don't seem particularly enthusiastic. Has it been a warmish day? As a player, Jacko, this would be just about as good as it gets at this time of year.
Perfect conditions, yeah.
Even the sun's a bit behind cloud. Here comes Sinor, kick into the eucalyptic pocket.
Might just go to Pete and find out. McMahon's come off the ground, mate. Any idea what's going on over there, Pete?
All I can tell you, fellows, is that they've got what's called the stretcher there, and when there was a flurry of players that looked like they'd be heading to the sidelines, the stretcher went 180 degrees around in circles, and it's just crashed. So I'm going to try and work out now. It looks like a hand injury. It looks like it's been taped, and we'll get some further confirmation on that as we head towards quarter time. But I can tell you the stretcher's all right.
Yep.
So we will not need to call for another stretcher at this stage.
It was just to everybody's relief. Meanwhile, Glenunga, they're struggling to get out of this area. They've turned the ball over, kick around the body from a phantom at number 2, who was Lockie Sheffield, who was wearing 10. So the number games continue. As you remember, this is the Breakthrough Mental Health Foundation.
Well, they're giving
Division
me problems.
And Jack Enright, he has the ball. There's a name in the
Here's
Western Suburbs football.
Bit of tribute
Enright.
for you, mate. He did a sparky job for me last week, Jack Enright. I still haven't received the invoice, so good lad. Give him a good rap. Jack, thanks for that freebie.
Is that who you were talking to before the game?
No, it wasn't, because I'm trying to avoid him. In case he remembers.
Oh, he remembers to send you an invoice.
Yeah, of course, Blazer, Bobby Enright's the son of
Yes.
Jack, and terrific man, Bobby Enright.
We'll go to Walshy at the next break and play, because whenever we do it during the player goal scores, that's usually how it works in this competition. There is a stoppage. Let's go to Walshy.
Michael McMahon, a dislocated finger, but it has been pushed back and he's been well worked on by the medical staff. Very keen to get back on, and as I speak, he's just jogging over to Courtney Crammy and saying to her that he'll be okay and he's ready to run back on again. He's okay.
Speaking of Courtney Crammy, I think Walshy will have a chat with her half-time break.
That's the assistant coach, is it?
Correct.
Right.
And
Great
of course, radio host on SCNSA and AFLW player. Quite a mix of roles.
Yes.
In the football
All-rounder.
world. So Glenunga, another mark. We don't have the mark inside defensive 50, but I think I'd be out of fingers for this quarter.
Wow, their marking power in the back half's been exceptional, hasn't it?
Yeah, and of course it's the kind of day you could do it. If it was, where were we last week when it bucketed down? You might struggle with that approach. But 25 gone, and this game's at a very interesting point.
Yeah, Baird and Mitchell, the two key defenders down there for Glenunga, doing a terrific job. Henley getting plenty of ball. This time, Jake Cook gets it around the corner, the Crows' top-up player. It's now with Lockie Sheffield. He goes out the far side. I like that kick. It's gone to space. Jackson Smith, who has it. The umpire's paid it for holding the ball against him there. So Glenunga, once again, able to hold up the forward momentum of the Sharks, and Bo Schwartz, who's been a terrific player for him, has the ball now.
Schwartz in front of one of the light towers here. Looks like a pretty impressive array of lights, Jacko. I wonder if they've considered night footy here.
Well, I think they're a recent addition, the lights, mate. They're pretty good now, so they could certainly play night footy. And
the female change rooms, and of course a while back they had the solar panels put in to keep the cost of those all down. As Glenunga going forward, here's an inside 50 and a chance to convert again. Sam Abel's taken the mark. Not a noted goal kicker. 3 goals from 10 games this year. 1 goal the last time they met.
Looks quite able though, Phil.
Willing and able to kick an important shot on the quarter time siren. The old air raid, which is the common siren they use in WA, but don't hear it a lot here.
No. Getting a bit of advice from the Henley boys too, which is good.
Looks like Walshy's going to go out and give us some advice as well. 45 metres out, has the height, has the length, and has missed to the right side. So that's the first miss for Glenunga. They go to 3-1-19, Henley 2-2-14, a 5-point game. We're going to take a break very shortly. Just the goal scorers quickly: Lincoln Bennett, Harry Prosser, and Jack Scott. For Henley, Cody Eagle and Tom Pillion. This is a Filming Footy production. We'll be back with Walshy from the huddles, Jacko with the stats after this break.
So the Simon Black Academy is in 4 states. It's a 3-pillared program. So one is the education component through the Torrens University. Second one is the development of their AFL skills, helping their player to become the best player they can possibly be. But the third one is, as you mentioned, a leadership and growth program. So it's an academy that combines both education and Australian rules football. A perfect opportunity for kids who like football. They get exposed to AFL coaches, mentoring, but they also get the hand held as they do a university degree. So the first 12 months is a diploma in Sports Management Elite, and if the students elect to stay on for a further 2 years, they end up doing what's called a Bachelor in Business Management with a sports focus. Based out of Norwood Oval for a couple of days a week in the Arc at Campbelltown. Yeah, it's a fantastic program. So for anyone out there who's interested in getting on board, loves football, extend your education with a Torrens University degree, feel free, check out the website simonblack.com.au.
Check check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
And welcome back. We're at the Henley Memorial Oval and roaming the boundary for us this afternoon. Let's go to Peter Walsh.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Two blokes just walked past eating sausages, so that's been my highlight. But I can tell you, there's a real sameness about the two huddles. I went to have a listen to what Nathan Grimer had to say, and he was more than happy to have 3 or 4 guys in each group, and they moved around amongst one another. They were very, very praiseworthy of what they could do when they got the ball forward, but he said keep those eyes lifted at all times. And the other one, of course, when I had to listen to Vinny, get in and cuddle, it's World Championship wrestling stuff. He was very, very animated and said, right, the scoreboard tells us we're in this game, but we have to stay focused because we're playing the best unit in the competition. There's only been nutted once. 1 down, 3 to go. Let's see if we can focus and grab a lead perhaps at the halftime break.
Thanks for that, Peter Walsh. And thanks to Dartfish and to our new statistician. I'm not going to say Lockie today. It's Cam who's got some stats for us, Jacko.
Yeah, and the stats are damning for Henley in the sense that normally these stats would reflect a 3-4 goal margin at quarter time. So the inside 50s, have a look at that. They're double what Glenunga have got, 14-7. The hit-outs are 13-7, which would suggest to you they're getting first hands on the ball. I think we have a clearance stat as well, haven't we? I did see it on the page, and it was very much in favour of Henley as well. So the tackle's certainly in favour of Glenunga, but all the ball has been with Henley. They've had plenty of ball. They just haven't been able to capitalise in the front half of the ground. And if they can get that area of the ground, and we'll get a chance this quarter to have a look at it, it'll be right in front of us. We'll find out what the problem is. But if you look where we are now, you can see there is a lot of height in the Glenunga backlines. The clearances, yes, 12 to Henley to Glenunga 5, so more than double. That's an amazing stat. So Henley are going to need to continue to do that, but also work on the front half of the ground if they are to win this game.
Alrighty, we've had the huddles, we've had the stats, we've had a chance for a break. Second quarter about to get underway.
Yep, Jessen's been really good. Doesn't get this one, however. Glenunga almost got a clearance. Baker bristles his way through, but Glenunga in the end do get it, courtesy of Lincoln Bennett on the left foot even. He hooks it around the corner. A little bit of clear ball, longing for Henley to be able to get hands on the ball. They do now. They run it out of the back half like this, out in front of Pillion. Much better kick that time. Wasn't able to take the ball, but at least he has an opportunity to get it. In the first quarter, too many times they put the ball over the back of his head. And we'll have a ball up on the half-forward line. I've lost my pen. I've lost my mojo.
Oh, mate, I think I've stolen your pen.
You set me up, fabulous Phil.
Sorry, mate. So let's see if Henley can keep the pressure on. And we have this really bad vibe between us that at some point Glenunga will have their 10 minutes of domination, score 5 goals, and it will be over. But right now Henley are matching blow for blow. They're almost outworking the side. It's down this end of the field. Nice pick up. That's Lockie Sheffield. They go across field again. They found the mark in Cody Eagle, who's already kicked a goal. Too far out to score here. Attacking it to the centre square. They go across the ground again.
Sean Baker free here.
Baker has marked 50 out. Got the yellow gold boots on today.
Yep.
League doing a fundraiser with gold shoelaces. Baker into the pocket and a good grab. Stretch. And in the end, a bit of frustration from Zach Smith. Didn't get there. And here's your mate, Tom Pillion, to have another crack.
Yep, nice kick by Sean Baker. That's not generally his strength. He's not renowned. What he is generally tough at the footy, but just held off nicely there, didn't he, till the space opened up for Tom Pillion. He led well and much improved on what we saw in the first quarter. So Tom Pillion, 30-degree angle, about 40 out. It's terrible off the boot, unfortunately, on the outside of the boot, and that goes through a point when they really need a goal. Yes, Pete.
Excited to say that the leading goal scorer for the home team was going to add another to his total, and they deserved a goal. A superb pass, a good grab, but unfortunately an errant kick.
You're right.
Promising signs, though. Promising signs
Yep.
early. We're only 2 minutes in.
27 goals to Pillion, 25 to Jackson Smith, the two leaders for the Sharks. As the Rams clear to the City wing, McMahon, good to see he's back out there. They'll get the kick downfield and taken by James Wunke, or has he gone out of bounds? Henley are claiming it. No, it can't be. No, it is Glenunga ball. A few spectators there on the fence, having to just move momentarily.
The Glenunga B grade being led by the coach Tommy Javor, heading around the boundary line with a carton, Phil. They've called themselves the Carton Club.
The Carton Club.
They sit there every week.
They should go and do
watch the
some
A's.
training as they got beaten today in the B grade.
So the morale boosting is working, TJ, but unfortunately it's not been reflected on the
Yeah,
scoreboard.
TJ, one of the colourful characters, of course, works for the Sandful. And
Likes to be known as the Impact.
the Impact.
Yes.
Actually called a Payne of Norwood Union grand final, called with TJ.
Oh.
And he was a Falcons man at the time, and he got to do the call when the Falcons won their first ever Div 1. And
He did indeed.
I've never heard a male commentator's voice go so high. They did it. But it was a magic moment,
Yeah.
as it is when you win your first flag. Throw in, half forward flank for the Rams. Jessen with the tap is Baker, showing a little bit of his grunt to break one tackle. Ball spills free. Sign up by the boundary. Nothing really coming clear. Coming in and laying a good tackle is Jackson Smith. I think they're up for the contest, Henley.
No, they are.
Do they know how to score and therefore how to win?
Yeah, certainly have come to play today. Jessen slaps it forward, straight in the hands of Glenunga. Now they go back down the line. Plenty of numbers around this contest. No one able to take it out. Finally, it's hacked forward by Oliver Gasperin. He's a likely sort. We're back inside Henley 50, and once again, Glenunga far too easy. Run the ball out. Bo Schwarz now coming through the middle of the ground. Zach Smith. He's gone to full forward. The umpires deem that a push in the back against, I think, probably Jack Calabro, and Sam Parsons will have a shot for goal about 40 metres out straight in front, Phil. And
The confidence that comes with having an 11-1 record, Glenunga know that if they get the ball and they go down the guts, they've got a really good chance of scoring.
Yeah, well, at some stage you start to get frustrated when you have that much of the ball that Henley have had. They're winning the clearances 2-1, they're winning the hit-outs 2-1, they're winning the inside 50s 2-1, but unfortunately the scoreboard's not 2-1. And Sam Parsons makes them pay. That's his second for the afternoon. And, when you consider Henley first crack at it in the start of the quarter through nice passage of play, Baker to Pillion, missed goal. Finally, the first inside 50 for the quarter to Glenunga, Sam Parsons. Well, that tears your heart out, that does. And old Vinny Regolo would be filthy on
Opens
that.
up a 10-point lead, one of the larger ones we've seen so far this afternoon.
Yes. Yes,
And
indeed.
it's turned out to be just having a look out of the van. Glorious blue sky here today after a foggy morning. If you weren't in Adelaide, it was quite a sight to see. And probably a bit scary if you had a flight to take off. Glenunga will go forward again, courtesy of Abel. Where will the bounce will be critical here. Got to the ball first, hand off to McMahon. That was great work by Sammy Parsons. He's had 2 kicks for 2 goals, 1 handball for a score assist. McMahon has his first. Glenunga 2 in 40 seconds. And now we've got ourselves the biggest lead of the match.
Let's have a look at this.
16.
Jack Calabro in front. A little bit unlucky with the bounce there. It was tight enough on Sam Parsons, but just a cruel bounce really that got him. And
quick hands.
Yeah, and he was able to lay it off, and all of a sudden we got 2 goals in 30 seconds, and the scoreboard now blows out a little bit, doesn't it? 5-1 to Henley's 2-3. They've doubled their score. So, yep, the next 5 or 6 minutes are pretty important on the back of what we've seen the last 5 weeks from Henley. Jessen goes, 1 key, first hands on it, takes it out himself, in fact. But Broadbent's there, he's been tackled aggressively. The umpire calls that hanging on. And that'll be Timmy Broadbent's free kick on the half-back line, Phil.
Once he goes and fetches it. Quite a good little crowd there, ringing the outer boundary. Enjoying the weather conditions. Certainly the crowd here at Henley enjoying a home match, having been a month away, which is unusual, but the Athelston renovations has thrown a lot of teams' schedules a bit out of whack.
Yes.
And now the Sharks will have 4 of their last 6 at home if they can make use of it. They've got it with Harvey Friel. He heads in eucalyptic country, gets it to Kiddo.
Koala.
He takes it back from whence it came to Luke Gray. They'll look to swap it over. Calabro. They're taking their time about it. And then we're going to switch it again. Meanwhile, of course, whilst they do this, Glenunga are manning up. And with Kyle Nicol back to Kiddo in front of the eucalyptus again, just about 20 metres further back. His kick towards Cook. Manages to recover. Now we're going forward inside 50. Charging out to meet it well was Jensen. It was such a good start. He attacked the football so well. He got separation from his defender, and then he put the boot on the ball.
Well, I was starting to wonder whether they'd move the goalposts to the wings, because the ball went back and forward right across the oval. Jessen ends up with it, so it turned out okay, but just couldn't control the kick. And that's not his go. He's a ruckman. Yes,
we'll
Pete.
go down to Walshy at our next break in play, which is going to happen right now. Peter.
Gee, I don't know, Phil, about these 2 teams. 5 goals and 2 goals. And you look at their highest scores for the year. Glenunga's kicked 16 goals, that's their highest. And Henley 17. And the rest of them dribble back into single digits. Heading towards finals, goals will win matches. I know this has been a tight game, but not too happy. It's been poultry if you're looking for goals.
Well, Pete, that's the modern game.
That's the one bit we don't have. We've got seafood, we've got lamb, poultry. I think we just about got the full diet.
We shouldn't let anyone out of the SNFL back into the Adelaide Footy League if they're going to set up defensively and make defence the most important part of the game, because we're giving away, I'm not sure Nathan Grimer realised we give away a pair of Archies to the coach who kicks 100, or his team scores 100 points. Meanwhile, we're back inside the forward 50, and this is Nick Onekey. He gets on with it quickly. Good tackle there by Henley. They've got the numbers here. Nice handball. Now Calabro has it. Looks down the wing, but unfortunately not able to control that kick, and Jack Matchett, I think, has it. He goes back from whence it came. No one able to take this one. Ball spills to the ground, and we'll have a ball up. And that ball travelled back and forward on the same line, which is completely different to what we saw when the ball was zigzagging across the ground back and forward.
Yeah. And they get another clearance. Get it to defensive 50. Should get a bit more here. This is Baker. Just gets the ball, puts the head down and goes forward and gets a free out of that. The infringer being James Onekey.
Very good at being able to get the head-high tackle is Sean Baker.
Well, there's not much of him in that sense, height-wise.
Height-wise, yes.
So he doesn't have to duck down too low to get tackled high. They work it nicely down the city wing here, the Sharks, towards Jackson Smith. He's taken it too far out to score. Henley really need the next one to get back in this contest.
What I like about this, he's actually thought about it and realised, have a look at the numbers behind the ball here. It's all in the favour of Glenunga. So he held the ball up, Jackson, which was good, and allowed the Henley boys to get there. Baker's got it now. He snaps around the corner. Can 35, Jack West, take it? He can't. Ball spills to the ground. But a much better effort. And have a look. Those two Henley boys, way off of their players, number 13 and Jackson Smith. 13 and Adrian Corso need to press up on the Glenunga defender. So if it's a quick kick like that, they're not able to take a mark without any opposition. So that's poor pressure behind the ball from Henley. So that's the difference in the two sides, the way they're setting up behind the ball for mine, Phil.
Comments from the super coach, Sean Jacko Jackson. As Henley try and go forward again. Hot footy in the middle. Well picked up by Haran, the captain. He had it, then he lost it. Around the body by Jack Pillion. They're just kicking it to each other at the moment. Harry Prosser has it. He looks to go down the guts. Got a couple of white jerseys here, but Kiddo's in the way, and he's got himself a free kick. Well done. He looks to go across and finds his team in a bit of the shadow of our favourite eucalyptus tree.
You can't actually see this on the TV, folks, but if we move forward to the ball, there are 5 Glenunga players in front of this Henley ball, just standing in his zone, not picking any player up. So watch what happens here. Ethan Miller bombs the ball in. It needs to come to ground for Henley to have any chance, and even still, Jackson Smith has got it.
And that's probably a pretty good result for Henley with those numbers.
Yep. So, once again, Henley going to have to make a decision whether they press up and make those defenders accountable, make it a one-on-one game, because at the moment they are 3 goals behind and it's not really working for them in the front half of the ground. Pillion gets it, hits it towards Enright, gets his ball back. Pillion needs a smother here, Henley, and they get one. Plenty of numbers around this ball. Much better contest now. Once again, if we could pan back behind the ball in Glenunga's forwards, got a much better structure set up here by Henley now. They're able to pick up players one-on-one. Ball spills towards the boundary. Almost head high. And what's he paid? Holding the ball, has he?
Ball up.
Ball up.
Just wanted to throw out to Pat Ziner, who had a smother in that earlier. Good, nice little 1%er. Good tap from Pillion, only as far as able. He kicks it high. Sharks ball. Let's see if they can construct something here with Jack West. Goes back. So we've gone from the inside 50 almost to the centre wing to Jessen. Jessen gets it on to Calabro. He'll go across. Play. Well read. Picked up by Tommy Beard. Now, Glenunga on the counter-attack. They can't seem to get any clearing kick, though, on their counter-attack. Working hard there was young Trigakis. Spills to Beard again. He will try again. And this time Harry Prosser. Attacking side centre wing. Puts it towards the 50-metre arc looking for Gaspar and misses the target completely. Nice help there from the man on the side there in the puffer jacket. Helping out our boundary umpire. Out on the full.
Yeah, now I think Henley are trying to play a game that they're not capable of playing, Phil. That switch, so they're just outside forward 50 here, and they went back 20 metres to go across the far side of the ground to try and get some space as they come forward. I understand what they're trying to do, but look where the ball is. It hasn't got anywhere near back to where it started. So, I wonder whether they'd consider pushing some players forward, making a one-on-one game in the front half of the ground and seeing how that works. The desire and the effort to get at the footy is first class.
Oh, they're getting themselves plenty of the football. Tommy Pillion has it. He's just tripped over at the inconvenient moment.
You talk about what style of game you want to play. Glenunga are playing a back half game, so they're setting up in the back half of the ground and going forward from
open
there.
Forward.
Yep.
And they're getting great conversion, 5-1, and they'd barely have 10 inside 50s.
Yeah. So plenty of white Guernseys around this. Henley going to have to crack right in. They do. Baker's got it. Searches for the head-eye tackle. I reckon it was there. Did he get it paid? He's beautiful at losing his feet so that he cops a head-eye tackle, and it was there, but the umpire didn't pay it. So we're going to have another ball up. Glenunga lay it on the check. Glenunga have been inside 50 12 times this quarter. So I guess when you consider, what was it, quarter time, 3 goals were they? They kicked 2 for the quarter.
Yeah, they have kicked 2 for the quarter.
So defensively, Henley have been pretty sound, and as we keep banging on about, it's not about the
2 goals straight to 1 behind. So 16 minutes gone of the second quarter.
Yep. So there's 2 Henley players back behind this ball without an opponent. So that means Glenunga have got the same at this end. Now, if you think you're winning the contest around the ball, which our stats show you that Henley are, then you do not load up your back half with spare players because you're winning the ball. And you're going forward and you're outnumbered. So, this is where you've got to be able to react while the game's being played. And here we have a look at the numbers there. 3 Glenunga players here.
It's gone to a crawl. Tommy Beard to Zach Smith there. It's almost like they're playing kick to kick on the outer side. And eventually when it does break, it's going to be a Glenunga goal. As Gasparin takes it over. Another stoppage, another throw-in. So we work our way to 17 minutes. Second quarter.
Been a while since we've seen a goal from either side.
Glenunga kicked 2 in very quick time.
Yep.
And that was very early in the second quarter. Henley just the one behind so far. Kick around the body by the Rams. No rain to be had today. They got a chance here. Oh, leg, yep. And this will be Liam Bennett. Not to be confused with number 1 Lincoln. Bennett from 70. It's an inside 50 for the Rams. Henley have got some numbers there. Kiddo's kick, not really that precise, but effective. Found Glamask. And somehow the Sharks are going to clear. A rare inside 50 clearance.
Yeah, nice kick out in the front of Jackson Smith. Not able to take that ground ball. Bit of heat there from Glenunga, and we'll have a ball up. And once again, we'll have a look behind the footy and you see 3 Glenunga players now without an opponent. So if they win this ball here, Henley, they're very unlikely to be able to do anything with it if they kick it forward. So luckily for them, they didn't win it. Yep. So the only other option is they've got to try and work the ball away from stoppage by hand. They can't kick the ball quickly. They've got to try and work the way with a chain of handballs and then get it into space.
And hope the Glenunga free players don't react quickly enough and get caught with the ball going over the top of their head.
Yep.
But it doesn't always work that way, especially if the kicks don't penetrate like that one. It's just more height than length. Out of bounds, another stoppage. Well, I tell you what, the fans on the other side are getting a great look at a game of footy, but there really isn't much happening for us. Walshy, come on, fire us up.
Well, I can tell you that at half-time, we'll be fired up all right. Courtney Crammy will join us here right outside our commentary box. She, of course, is a star for the Adelaide Crows in women's football. Played football from a very, very early days, and I'll find that out. And she is standing beside Nathan Grimer as one of the assistant coaches here. And I'm fascinated to know just what her life has done since she began playing in women's football. That's at half-time.
Also,
thanks, Peter. We look forward to that, don't we?
Radio Stars, Sandford Juniors show on a Sunday morning with SENSA, the radio station on the edge of the dial. Which, of course, they have Kimbo on the reach. They interview a local hero across the league. We thank them for their support as we go off target, waiting for something to happen in this football game.
It's a game devoid of highlights over the last 5 or 6 minutes. And
play of the day. Glad we don't have that this week.
Someone warned me it would be a very low-scoring
you
game.
Did. And you said this right from the get-go.
And that's what we're getting on a perfect day for footy, let's be honest. It's, we've had a little bit of rain this week, but it's a perfect day to be playing. And it's ugly, Phil. It's not the way I want to see football played, to be honest with you. And I reckon the current coaches have got some sort of responsibility to keep the game. I tell you what, I saw a C-grade game this morning, and I far liked watching that game more than I liked watching the AFL last night.
Well, I didn't even watch the AFL last night, so sounds like I didn't miss a lot.
No, you did not, and you've missed nothing in the last 10 minutes, folks at home, if you've tuned in. But Henley have got it now. Can they get it to space? They can't. Glenunga's got all the answers. He's going to have a shot on goal, this lad. He's just got it a bit skinny in the end. I think it might have been
the 16-year-old Luke Trakakis.
Right. So that's our first score for a while. Henley away quickly with a kick in. Nice kick and a good contested mark.
That was almost suicidal by the Sharks.
It was a risky kick. Adrian Corso up to the challenge though, wasn't he? It was a good one-on-one mark against Gasparin, who's been in good touch for Glenunga.
So let's see who loses. We've lost our patience in the commentary box. Let's see which team loses patience. I think it might be the Sharks based on a couple of their kicks. They're just going to play hands off. Take a 17-point deficit into half-time. Towards Sino, who couldn't mark it. Now he's set upon by 2 Rams. Tries to go back and get it. At ground level was the captain Haring. Kick around the body towards the top of the goal. Bouncing ball. Oh,
Well
eventually that
Jack
was
Enright,
a crazy
I think.
kind of bounce for Enright, who just gets it and kicks for space. We don't really have deliberate out of bounds because I reckon in the AFL that might have been close. Will be a throw-in, and it's on the members' side.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate, isn't it? What responsibility do we have to try and keep the game, well, enjoyable to play as much as enjoyable to watch? And I'm not sure that this game is that at the moment. Anyway, Glenunga hack it around the corner.
I mean, the problem is with that, and we found this with the AFL time after time after time, is that you have it's like trying to get rid of a obnoxious animal. You introduce a new species, and then they become the problem. You solve one and create 3 others.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the context of your whole game's changed.
Yep. So Tim Broadbent kicks it from fullback, and now out on the wing, Henley.
Nice blanket.
This is the kick goes. Jackson Smith's had a lot of work to do, hasn't he? And that isn't actually him that time. But once again, it was a 2v1. It might have been against Pillion.
So Glenunga are having a fair few cracks here, and are they getting a 25? If so, that's
50.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's a big 25, isn't it?
Yeah.
I reckon that was born out of frustration for Tommy Pillion there because, he's been swamped in the front half of the ground, having to compete 1-on-2, 1-on-3, and if you're key forward, you just want the opportunity to be able to compete 1-on-1 and show what you've got. And they're clogging up the space beautifully, Glenunga, at the moment for him.
Darcy Mitchell, 55 metres out. Too far out to score. Will bounce out the back for a behind, which is almost worth getting excited about. Glenunga 5-4, 34. Henley 2-3, 15. 21-point lead to the league leaders. 23 minutes gone, and with just a couple of goals kicked, although plenty of stoppages, you don't think it'll be a particularly long second quarter.
No, making his way to the bench there. Tommy Pillion changed with Jack West. Not sure whether that's a club rule or a rule you give away a 50-metre penalty, head to the pine.
Not a bad rule.
Yep, so that may have been the case there. Ethan Miller, haven't called his name for a while. Contest in the air. Henley got all the answers when the ball hits the ground here, but once again, Glenunga good enough to be able to get the ball out. We're starting to see the players get a little bit tired here. There's some fumbling mistakes. James Lean has it now. Handball's out the back to the Gumtree. The koala in the Gumtree. Hidden. Can't see who's got that, but in the end it's been marked by Jack Scott. Great Scott. Jackson Smith, need to put your hands up on the mark. That's better. Make him kick higher. Now get at him. I feel like I'm starting to coach instead of commentate here. Some of the basics of footy.
Entertaining and educational. Well, I think it's more educational than entertaining at the moment. For entertainment, let's go to Peter Walsh.
That's sure.
Information sharing, if you don't mind. The boss wasn't sure how many more minutes to go, so he sent one of the entertained stewards down along the fence to a gentleman who's sitting about 100 metres away from where I am. He had a bo peep at what I presume is the clock, and the return message came back to Nathan Grimer. He knows how long there is to go in this third quarter, but we don't.
Well, that's unusual. Normally a timekeeper will divulge that information. Too bad, too sad. Harry Prosser has it. Kicks out the far side, and that is a nice kick to space.
That's a highlight of the quarter.
That is the Simon Black Academy highlight without any doubt, although
we don't officially have one.
We'd had 2 goals in 30 seconds from Glenunga at one stage. So who's got the ball, Phil? McMahon.
This time last quarter we were riding off with his dislocated finger.
I'll back him from there, Phil. And I shouldn't have. Luckily I didn't put too much on it. The umpire has paid what?
Well, is it a mark on the line or a goal? Usually it has to be one or the other.
Fletcher Wiseman asking for it, but he hasn't got it. It is to number 23,
Liam Bennett.
Liam Bennett. He'll go the check. Players are pretty good at this in this day and age.
I'm not sure if he's kicked a goal for the Rams before.
Well, I'll get it. I reckon he'll... Wowie. That's gone through. That has gone through at head height. So that's good enough to put Glenunga out to 6-4. First goal we've seen in probably 12, 14 minutes, I reckon, to Henley's 2-3. And look, I think if Henley were playing with this application against the last few weeks, they might have won a couple of the games. So we're not unhappy with the way they're...
1 minute to go, we've been told by our unofficial timekeeper / He's a man of many talents, Peter Walsh.
Yeah, he's been around the block a couple of times, Pete, and he's got a few more blocks to go around too.
So, 25-point margin, bit by bit.
Tom Beard in the ruck for Glenunga now, Phil.
Yeah. And he's going to go. He's going to get a tap and land straight in the mud. Of course, this is the home of the West Torrens District Cricket Club. We've got the Hooks Pavilion down one end here. Was lucky enough just to be old enough to see David Hooks play.
Footy?
Cricket. No, cricket. No,
wasn't a bad footballer.
It wasn't, though.
Torrens under 17s.
Yeah. But no, I think cricket was his talent.
Yeah.
As Henley, they're trying the rugby scrum surge now. Comes to Gaspar and he kicks it into some space. Nicely done by Prosser to take the mark in the middle. They're off the Rams towards McMahon. He wants another one before half time. He won't get it because the air raid siren has sounded to say we're at the main break.
Thank God.
Good quarter for Glenunga. They kicked 3-3. Henley Sharks one behind and barely saw it inside 50 for the last 10 minutes of the game. Let's go down Boundary side to Peter Walsh, who has a special guest.
Hello, reliable one. I knew you'd find us. It's lovely to see you at a football ground. Now, there's a shock.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful day for footy and got a great contest here.
Football to you means so much. And I was sort of wondering about the basic questions I'd like to ask. Can you remember the first time you actually dragged on some footy boots and kicked it around?
Oh, it was probably very early days. Playing school footy at Highgate and down at Sturt at Henley Oval. So, very early days though.
I love it when we're here at a venue and we can see people walk past and they say, "There's Courtney. There's Courtney." And they say that because you are a role model. I'm not trying to embarrass you, but you've been involved in the game and it appears to me as if you really love the game.
Yeah, no, football's great. It's been part of my life for a very long time and it's just great to see so many people being able to play the great game and it's all part of the community, which is fantastic.
You've stepped, or have you, into a coaching box. Nathan Grimer, he's very much an effervescent sort of a character. Is this giving us the impression now that you'd like to go a little further and perhaps coach at a higher level?
Yeah, I really enjoy coaching and Nathan's been brilliant for the Glenunga Footy Club. Obviously doing very well this year so far and got a great game on our hands here today against Henley. Coaching's a really rewarding thing that I like to do and see other players develop and get better.
I did a wander earlier on before the fog and mist moved out of the way and was told things like there are not enough grounds now for women to play football. That's how the growth is starting to emerge. Are you finding that?
Yeah, it's huge. It's always a challenge to get ovals, and it's not just oval space, but it's the support that everyone needs, the great coaching, the facilities and trainers and so forth. So it is challenging, but it's great to see female football participation just skyrocketing and all off the back of the AFLW.
And I congratulate you, Courtney, because of your work in the media and because you're prepared to sit in front of a camera and talk about your passion and talk. There's no bullshit. You just tell it as it is, and that's what people want to hear.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can, in front of the camera, people say a lot that they just think that people want to hear, but I suppose, you need to be challenged and say it how it is, and it's great to see people going into that kind of space after football and contributing. We're
going back to the troops in just a moment, but the last question, the way things are progressing, it's hard to imagine that anyone's going to put a stop sign up with women's football. It's so popular. How far do you think we can go at the top level?
Yeah, well, I suppose the next step is for those new sides to come into the AFLW competition, and Port Power's just around the corner, which will be a challenge for the Adelaide Footy Club in terms of their list management. But moving forward, all 18 clubs represented in the AFLW, and the growth of female footy at a local level. You know, Glenunga Football Club getting a women's side for the first time next year will be fantastic, and have a massive amount of junior girls out at Glenunga, so a pathway for them now as well.
Thank you so much for breaking into what happens at half time for you. You have a pie or something?
A few lollies to get my energy back up.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks a lot as always.
Thank you.
Courtney Crammy joining us. What a delightful young lady. And what she's done in the world of women's football, she's been joined by quite a lot of others, but she is a star, and it's really good to be able to talk to her and bring her effusive nature and character to those who are watching our coverage this afternoon.
Thanks for that, Walshy. Indeed, one of numerous Crows AFLW players that are becoming household names here in South Australia in the football community. Half-time here at the Henley Memorial Oval. It's Glenunga in charge. We'll be back after the break.
So the Simon Black Academy is in 4 states. It's a 3-pillared program. So one is the education component through the Torrens University. Second one is the development of their AFL skills, helping their player to become the best player they can possibly be. But the third one is, as you mentioned, a leadership and growth program. So it's an academy that combines both education and Australian rules football. A perfect opportunity for kids who like football. They get exposed to AFL coaches, mentoring, but they also get the hand held as they do a university degree. So the first 12 months is a diploma in sports management elite, and if the students elect to stay on for a further 2 years, they end up doing what's called a bachelor in business management with a sports focus. Based out of Norwood Oval for a couple of days a week in the Arc at Campbelltown. Yeah, it's a fantastic program. So for anyone out there who's interested in getting on board, loves football, extend your education with a Torrens University degree, feel free to check out the website simonblack.com.au.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
the Simon Black Academy is in 4 states. It's a 3-pillared program. So one is the education component through the Torrens University. Second one is the development of their AFL skills, helping their player to become the best player they can possibly be. But the third one is, as you mentioned, a leadership and growth program. So it's an academy that combines both education and Australian rules football. A perfect opportunity for kids who like football. They get exposed to AFL coaches, mentoring, but they also get their hand held as they do a university degree. So the first 12 months is a diploma in Sports Management Elite, and if the students elect to stay on for a further 2 years, they end up doing what's called a Bachelor in Business Management with a sports focus. Based out of Norwood Oval for a couple of days a week in the Arc at Campbelltown. Yeah, it's a fantastic program. So for anyone out there who's interested in getting on board, loves football, extend your education with a Torrens University degree, feel free, check out the website simonblack.com.au.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
Get a quick and easy low-rate car loan from Police Credit Union today.
And welcome back, everyone. The umpires are back out. Third quarter can't be too far away. We're at the Henley Memorial Oval, the filming footy crew today. Thanks to all our sponsors, including catch.com.au, Screaming Good Deals, the Simon Black Footy Academy, Billy's Bakery giving us all the crosses with Walshy this afternoon as well. And we thank Sports Interactive and Adelaide Starbus for their support at half-time. The league leaders slowly, surely are suffocating the life out of this contest. They are 6-4, that's 40. Henley Sharks with just 1 point in the second quarter are 2-3-15. The goal scorers for Glenunga, 2 to Sam Parsons on debut. Harry Prosser, Jack Scott, Liam Bennett and Michael McMahon with a goal each. And Cody Eagle and Tom Pillion, the goal scorers for Henley. Jacko, we've got some stats. What do you make of it all?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I make of. That's the second quarter stats. So the inside 50s were reversed from what we saw in the first quarter, 12-6 in favour of Glenunga. Tackles pretty even, and Glenunga had a bit of an ascendancy in that area in the first quarter. And hit-outs in favour of Glenunga after Henley dominated in that department in the first quarter. But I only hope that at half-time, Henley maybe consider the way they're playing and try something a little bit differently, because, yeah, the game's close in terms of, 6-2?
Yeah, 25 points.
25 points. But, they probably need to try and win the game, and they're not going to win the game with how they're structured up. Glenunga have got all the players behind the ball, and any time they win the ball, Glenunga take it easily from behind the play. So I'd like to see Henley, I banged on about this late in the second quarter, but I'd like to see Henley push the numbers forward and make it a one-on-one contest at least.
Because they were winning a lot of those early.
They were.
They were getting outmarked, but in a clearance scenario, they were holding their own, I thought.
Well, that's what we said. The stats clearly showed at quarter time that Henley had more of the ball than Glenunga, but they were behind. So, if you're reflecting on that whilst the game's being played, you're saying, well, we can't win if we're getting as much of the ball as we're getting into our forward line. We're winning the clearances, but we can't get it through the goals because Glenunga are too good behind the ball. So we have to do something. We have to react on the fly. And, well, Henley have had a chance to talk about it now at half-time, so I'll be interested to see whether there is a change in the way they do it. Apparently, this is the way Glenunga play week in, week out, and look, it's been successful for them. I want to take that away from them, but, gee, it's really hard to watch, and it's the style of game that certainly doesn't bring people to the footy.
Well, a man who has seen more football than all of us combined is on the boundary. Peter Walsh, what have you thought of the first half so far?
Well, I've just emerged from the women's toilet. I went there by mistake. So that's been...
You've done that in your broadcasting career.
Yeah, that's what I said too, Peter.
I didn't realise what was happening until someone told me that I should realise what is happening, and so I've moved on. Okay. Now, what I can tell you is I've had a text message from Stan the statistician from
Stan the
Stradbroke
statistician.
Island.
Okay.
I got a message during the week. I used to go to St Pat's College in Ballarat, and we're all talking about goal kicking.
Yes.
And recently, there was a plaque that was placed there in honour of a Brownlow medalist, Johnny James, who played with Carlton. And in 1952, he kicked 35 goals in a game against Ballarat High School. That's not bad. The next information sharing, Ronnie Edwards from Lake Tyers in 1950 kicked 43 goals in a game against Noah. Now I have no idea what that is. Nowa.
He built the ark.
But it's the
I bet
classic.
it didn't rain in that game.
Hands up those who know under-19s player Stephen Cook from Williamstown.
Cookie.
Stephen, in 1983, kicked 46 goals in a match against Geelong West. Final scores would not fit on this scoreboard. Williamstown, 110 goals, 27 behinds, 687 points. Defeated Geelong West, 2 goals, no behinds, 12 points. The reason I'm reading those out is when I come to the football, I want to see goals kicked.
Yeah.
I want to see the excitement generated. I want to see the high marks, but I also want to see goals kicked, and there ain't nothing like that happening today, my men.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
And I don't think there is a Geelong West Footy Club anymore from memory. And then after an effort like that in the under-19s, not surprising. Thank you, Walshy. Yes, if you're a Crows fan and then you've tuned into this game, yes, goals have been... You're wondering whether you're watching Adelaide Footy League or you're watching the Euros. But where there's hope...
Well, we're only halfway in.
That's it. It could all change in the third quarter. Jacko's going to try and make it happen. You're with Sean Jackson.
Right, one key. And Jessen it is. Like he did the start of the game, gets first tap, goes to Enright, not able to burst through the Glenunga. Looks like he might have jagged an ankle there. We'll have another restart. Jessen again, back to Enright, and he's locked up immediately once again. So we'll have...
Looks like man on man.
Take 3, yes. Keep your eye on that, Phil, behind the ball. Let's see if there's been a change. That could be holding the ball. So both sides throwing themselves in nicely here. Glenunga, in the end, going to be the side that takes it away from the stoppage. They do. They go to McMahon. And nice spring, hasn't he? He's got nice elevation. Good size. Very, very good pickup for Glenunga. Probably about 3 years ago, Phil. I think he's been instrumental in their success, Nicky McMahon.
2019, he kicked 60 goals. Just 13 last year, and he's looking for number 30 right here.
Well, distance won't be a problem. He's kicking from about 35, and he steers that through, and he gets the first goal. That is his second, the first for the second half, and maybe this will start an avalanche, and it will start raining goals here at the Shark Park.
Yeah, you just get the feeling if it is going to be raining goals, it's mainly going to be to the team in white this afternoon. But that's a 5-goal margin. No, yes, 31 points, biggest of the afternoon thus far. It was the Henleys and the Bees. So something for them to celebrate.
Yeah, you were
their
correct.
Bees are doing all right. They're in about third spot at the moment. But their A's, well, they've got to keep the percentage up today and then somehow get ready for Broadview next week in what we said would be a season-defining contest. Back in the middle. Looks like they're balling it up right on the cricket pitch. Jesson with the tap. Straight to a Ram Rover, who's been tackled, and we go again. This time,
Paid a free
as the against the Rams ruckman who took it out of the air and kicked it away, but it looks like Jesson's. Is he going to kick it? Yes, he is. Probably wish he didn't. And across to Nicole, and we're away.
It's come off his knee, I think, and back into the centre of the ground. Glenunga, nice strong contest there from Sam Parsons like that, but the ball's been turned over. Henley have got it now. Will they go forward direct? They do, but it's intercepted again by Glenunga. Into the corridors, a nice kick. Straight down the middle of the ground, looking for McMahon again, and why wouldn't you? One of the best players in this competition. He'll get it again here. He does. What will he do with it? Nice. It's actually a drop punt that's gone end over end.
And Jesson's heading for the interchange.
Yeah. So that's been turned over on the mark. Man on the mark diligently. Bailey Clemaz has got it. Now Henley go towards the boundary line. Got some numbers here this time. Jack Pillion's there. No one able to keep the ball, and in the end Jake Cook gets a bit frustrated and kicks the ball out of bounds. And had an opportunity there, Paddy Sinall boosting through the back half of the ground, but once again that kick going forward of centre proving a little bit difficult. We look behind the ball, and it is 1-on-1 at the moment, so I want to see Henley try and pull Henderson, try and open that forward line up a little bit and see whether Glenunga, and that's the challenge for the coaching staff, isn't it? You know, try and get the game on your terms. So at the moment, Henley have reacted to what was happening in the first half, which is good. Go 1-on-1. Now, their opponents are staying with them. Let's see whether they can open it up a little bit and draw their opponent out and create some space for Jackson Smith and Tom Pillion.
Comes to the back of the pack, trying to take off was end right. Free kick, Sinal says, I'm off. He heads towards the northwest pocket. Can't tell you who, but I can tell you it's someone from Glenunga's taking the mark. Deep. So, again, Henley, their efforts so far have been thwarted. It's been almost a quarter, well, more than a quarter now since they scored a goal. This is work through Schwartz to Mitchell. Loses the ball. Another one loses the footing. They're not wearing the long stops today. Kick inside. Here's a chance. Kiddo's kick is well smothered. I think that was by Abel. Lincoln Bennett. Back to Staples. Yeah, no one is really getting more than about 2 or 3 possessions here. Prosser's got to take on 2 Sharks. Loses his balance. And just notice a couple of players slipping over. So there must be some bit more muddier, soggier patches of the ground out there, Jacko.
Yeah, no doubt. There's been a bit of rain the last few days. You would imagine as the game unfolded. Pity the girls who are playing after this. Might be a slop by the time they get to play. But in the main, there's the sun shining and it'll probably hold up okay. Glenunga have won a free kick at the far side of the ground on the Cudmore Terrace wing. Go towards McMahon. In fact, it was Sam Parsons. Unable to take it. Now Henley. Much more direct play, didn't mind that. And end up winning a free kick. And Tom Pillion, he would be as frustrated as anyone, I think, out on the ground, because it seems like at times they just don't want to kick the ball long towards him, and maybe that was on the back of
and you remember defense. The first 30 seconds of the game? He ran on a hard lead, marked and goal, and we thought, hello.
Yeah, we've got a game on.
And they've kicked 1 goal since.
He's got another opportunity here, young Tommy. Marches in. Much better looking kick, that one, than the last, on the one inside the second quarter. That's his second for the day. And run into his dad over there at the bar at half time. About 8 beers in, Tim Pillion. He'll be giving some good advice to the punters in the crowd now. No, I'm only kidding.
Speaking of good advice, let's go to Walshy.
We're into the club rooms, and I love club rooms where all of the plaques are up to date. And we're talking to a few of the punters and asking them how they were feeling, and it was the F word, it was frustration. They want to see goals, and they said, kicking 3 and the opposition kicking 5, that's not good enough. We want to see our team kick goals, show some oomph on the forward line, and get them ready for 6 games less. And then there's the finals on, so the punters also becoming a bit frustrated with the lack of scoring.
Anyway, Henley have got it. Kyle Nickel goes short. That turns over in a really dangerous spot, but that's a terrific effort by Jack Calabro running back with the fly to the ball. I don't know if you saw that one last night with the Crows player, Tom Duday running back. Maybe we could talk about courage versus stupidity, and that was a stupid act with Jack Calabro.
Sometimes it's a hard thing to separate, Jacko.
Yes, I know. Jack Calabro's done that well. So, Broadbent has it. Plays onto himself. Nice kick into space.
This is Zeke Scott, we found out, thanks to...
I was right then.
It was right. He was playing. He came in under number 2.
Yeah, okay. Member of the Simon Black Academy last year. Phil, not to give them Calabro under a bit of pressure here.
Gonski!
Wowie.
Oh, dear.
And McMahon's just giving him a little bit of a tap on the shoulder as well, just to send it message right home.
Nick Wonky saw the ball, I'll just kick it through the goals, but no, they're going to have a shot. I mean, very rarely, percentages. You don't see holding the ball played as often up forward as you do down back. But that was so blatantly obvious, it was the only call.
Good old Jackie Calabro. McMahon, straight in front of goal, makes no mistake with that one. That is his 3rd for the day. And it is raining goals here for Glenunga. That's their 2nd for the quarter.
All right, so it's raining goals. Hopefully Walshy's not getting wet.
Well called, fellas, because he's the guy who fractured his finger. He'd had to be dragged back, and I didn't hear the crack of bones from here, but just the look of anguish. And I said, "You doing all right?" He said, "I'm fine." "Did that hurt?" "No." "You going back on?" "Yep." "When are you going back on?" "When you stop asking me questions."
That was a little bit like who's on first, what's on second. That was a beautiful bit of play there.
Well done, Pete.
Pete. Anyway, we're back in the middle.
We are.
Scores for the quarter: 2 to Glenunga, 1 to Henley.
But we got goals. We've had 3 of them in 9 minutes. We've been absolutely spoilt. And we could have some more very shortly if they can clear it out of the middle, which they can't.
Had a few of the secondary and 3rd stoppage resets, haven't we? So both players going at it in the middle of both sides going at it in the middle of the ground.
Miller tries to do the ruck kick. The Tommy Carter special from Goody Saints, but can't do it. Now it's with Zeke Scott. He'll send Henley in front, and there's a good, lovely attack on the ball from Zach Smith.
That was Zeke Scott to Zach Smith.
Yes. ZZ tops in that play. So Smith, he got the advantage of a 25, has a teammate on the outer wing. There's some kids with some laptops out there. They're doing their homework whilst they're out there. I don't know. Not too often you see that. I thought I was the only nerd that brought a laptop to a football game.
Who's got the laptop?
There were some kids out. Let me go back towards that corner. I'll show you.
Paul Barrett sitting behind there in the play with the grey jumper on. He's my assistant coach for many years. G'day, Baz. Good to see you here at Henley Oval.
Now, there's 2 kids there with chairs, with laptops, watching the game, and God knows doing what on the laptops. But it's Glenunga ball.
It is. Their 3rd opportunity this quarter inside 10 minutes, just outside 10 minutes.
Not quite sure on the player here. We'll get the number in due course. It is Nick Wonky to the top of the square. There was a lot of navy blue at the front of that pack. In the end, it was Abel who got the kick that was smothered. Goes out of bounds. Will be a throw in that will lob right at the top of the Rams goal square.
Yeah, Ethan Miller for Henley looks set to go up against Michael McMahon, perhaps. Jack Enright has it. Handballs it over the back, taken by Lincoln Bennett.
Look, I'm not a coach. Don't pretend to be. That's your forte, Jacko. But it always strikes me strange there's no one on the goal line defensively.
There is now, but before you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
for something like that.
Jack Calabro, chance to redeem himself here. Does it pretty well, but falls over it, and One Key gets it first.
Tunnelling.
In the end, Glenunga win a free kick, and the difference, Sam Parsons, I think, is going to have a free kick, and poor old Jack Calabro's having a nightmare start to the quarter. Much improved player.
All he did was went in hard for the football, as he's been doing since his junior days.
Yep.
But you can't go that low anymore.
Yep, umpire bringing Sam Parsons around. But Jack Calabro, by all reports, has had a terrific year, and there was a bit of interest in him through some SANFL clubs. Parsons on the left foot, hooks it around, no problems whatsoever. That is his third, Sam Parsons. And between him and Mick McMahon, the difference in the two sides is McMahon 3, Parsons 3, 6 out of...
Forward target.
Yeah, 6 out of 8. And that wasn't through any great forward craft as such. It was just pressure, wasn't it?
Yep, and above all, opportunity created, fully converted. And, he looks like a good addition to the Rams forward in a 1-2 punch with McMahon. It's going to be hard to stop when the whips get cracking.
Don't forget they got
finals time.
Michael Oneke's on the sidelines today to come back into that side.
Handy forward.
Hasn't played a lot this year with injury, but gee whiz, if they could get him up and about, he's going to be hard to stop.
I'm sure he would have played enough to qualify. As Enright will send forward, and once again a kick inside defensive 50. This is by Captain Haran. Alex Haran, who's happy to... Look, he really is indecisive, isn't he? Now he'll come down the coastal side, the clubroom side. Making good position right from the get-go was Luke Gray. Couldn't take the mark. Enright tries to batter it forward. Now he's set upon. Stoppage will ensure. 13 gone, 28-point game. It's been a bit more free-flowing than what we saw in the second quarter, but Glenunga are looking comfortable at this point.
Yeah, I think Harris Jesson has won himself a free kick here.
Good to see us back.
Their automatic thought is to go to the boundary, isn't it? Have a look at this. Now 20 metres back again. There's no faith whatsoever in the front half of the ground. James Lean goes back to where it just came from. This must be frustrating for the old timers to watch, because get a player in front of the ball who can make a contest. Tommy Pillion can make a contest in the air. Ethan Miller can make a contest in the air and bang it in. And just make sure you got the numbers when the ball hits the ground. That's what happens here. The ball hits the ground. Can they hold it in their front half, Henley, and score? Number 55 has it. Kyle Nickel kicks it on the left foot. Hard to see the play from here now with
Baker with the soccer.
Okay.
Glenunga with the response. Out of bounds throw in. 14.5 gone. This quarter. Glenunga have kicked 6 goals, 1. Henley have kicked 1 goal. Margin out to 28 points. Was 25 at the main break. Out of bounds again. There where the barbecue is situated.
There was no barbecue at half time.
No barbecue, all done and dusted.
I
all
did
packed
mosey
up.
over there to try and get some BBQ, and no hot pies or pasties either.
Wow, well they've been inundated with.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been. It's not a SANFL game where everybody turns up for the league.
I think what's happened, Phil, is some of that eastern suburbs money's come down the west.
Come down and bought the place out.
The rich Glenunga Footy Club. No expense.
They're not used to some of the other places not spending much money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, they do have a long day, and those people in the barbecue and canteens, we think it's a long day doing one game. They're here at 7, 8, getting set up for a C-grade game, then the reserves, then this, and then women's game to follow. It's a long day. But it's actually what keeps a lot of clubs going, so they don't lose too much money out of the sellout. As Jesson, back to the footy, drives hard to the hot spot. Who can rid it off hands? Beautifully done here by Sheffield, who had an open goal beckoning and missed. It's a behind to the Henley Sharks.
One other one we should mention is Tommy Langford. He's doing the running today for Glenunga, I've noticed. As good a forward player as there's been in the Adelaide Footy League over the last 4 or 5 years. State player a couple of years ago. He's injured, moving quite freely today, I must say, as a runner. We throw him and One Key into that forward line. Wowee. That is going to be difficult to beat.
Yeah, might not be quite a spot for
I don't think
the
you'd be loading.
Parsons-McMahon combo.
No, I don't think you'd be loading up the back half if you had those two boys in your front 50.
16 gone, third quarter. Shadows starting to make their way across the Henley Oval. I don't know where we are. We're probably, kilometre from the beach, if that.
Yeah, yep, tops. No, it'll be less than that probably. No sign of seagulls here today though, Phil. I've noticed the seagulls. It's too cold for them even.
Yeah. It's for small
Right,
horses.
the ball goes to the back. Kenny Henley gets something, reward for effort. There a chance here on the left foot, if you don't mind. I reckon that was Joel Harvey Friel. And that's a fair mouthful, Joel Harvey Friel, but that's a good goal. And a much needed one for Henley. Good to see the boys up and about. We'll watch this from the stoppage. Looks like Jesson does it beautifully, doesn't it, with a ham at the tap over the back to Adrian Corso. And just ran beautifully onto the ball, Joel Harvey Friel, and a good finish on the left foot. That's their first for... No.
Second
first
goal
since
this quarter.
First since Pillion's goal earlier in the quarter. And puts, Henley still within range. Peter.
Gee, fellas, when we look at the leading goal scorers for the two respective teams before this game, Michael McMahon 28, Tom Pillion 26, and Jackson Smith 25. That's not a lot of that sort of silverware in the cupboard, and you need to have someone who's going to kick a lot more, and that's not happening.
No, that's about just around the 2-goal a game mark. Which, if you've got a well spread out team, but as I said, Glenunga's not known for having a huge attacking side.
Joel Harvey Friel goes with a right foot this time, bangs it in long. Got a contest, 1-on-1. Nearly, can they get 2 in a row here? They're an opportunity. They keep it alive, but that's a really good tackle by the Glenunga player. Can't pick his number up, but he's turned that ball over. So the pressure in their back half has been exceptional, Glenunga. There's no question about that. Number 26 it was, Phil. James Tregarkis. He switches out the far side.
Zach Smith has it. He'll find a further ram on the outer side. Number 19, Jack Scott. Yeah, we're down there with these kids with the laptops in a sec. I told you, Jack Machette brings it across. If we do some more shot. Oh, no, now we go with the long kick. Always. Looking for Prosser, who had it and lost it. But quite a group out there watching the game. They're going to have some issues shortly because the sun's going to come down and they're going to be looking right into it.
That part of the Glenunga B-grade Carton Club, is it, out there?
Not sure, they're wearing red, which doesn't match up with any of the sides.
Right, okay.
I reckon it might be a Henley High shirt, possibly, because they're red.
Yeah, red and green.
Yeah. Anyway, boundary throw in. It goes over the top of everybody, opens it up for Son, who just sort of tapped it on to Gray. Now just another stoppage, and we've gone back to a stoppage fest again. Time on is imminent in this third quarter.
Okay, so the ball gets thrown up. One stoppage after another is correct, Phil. There are plenty of numbers around the ball. Both sides still having a red-hot crack. And for Henley, at home for the first time in 6 weeks, they would be keen to soldier this game all the way through. They're into their front half of the ground now. Cody Eagle has it. Handballs on the inside. I like that. That's gone to Paddy Sinor. He's gone on the left foot. Well, how about that for direct footy? Eagle, Sinor, Ethan Miller. Now, if that doesn't tell you something when you're watching this back, I was told, someone told me at halftime that they're not allowed to kick long down the line. That wasn't so much down the line, but gee, when you're given your forward opportunities to compete one-on-one like that, well, you know, Ethan Miller and Tom Pillion are both capable of taking marks.
Well, if you're only towards 50 in the centre of the ground, you really can't go too wide in the pocket if there's no one there.
Yeah, the last 5 inside 50s to Henley as Ethan Miller lines up. Looks good off the boot. It is. It's an absolute beauty. It's gone straight through the middle. The big Ethan. That's his first for the day, Phil, is it? I thought it was, for some reason I thought it was his second, but that's his first.
Yep.
And if they are to have any chance of winning the game, him and Tommy Pillion need to continue to present well and mark and kick some goals. And Big Pete, what have you got for us?
Play that the locals have put before us for the whole day. It was a magnificent mark. and executed superbly. And what I loved about it is there's no shortage of anticipation from the gathering here to think, all right, we've got one, see if we can get one or two more. I don't think they're going to be able to chase themselves back into the game, but a couple of goals will make them feel just a bit better as the sun's gone and we're heading for a rather cool night, my friends.
Yes, Wainwright got it out of the middle, but Glenunga have turned the ball over again on their half-back line. It's now Sam Parsons who has it, lays the ball off. They go to their forward line now, looking for one kick. Calabro slips over. Geez, that's a very contentious call right in front of the Glenunga coaching staff. Brave, I commend that boundary umpire for having the courage, because Jack Calabro lost his footing there at a crucial time, and Nick Wunke was going to make him pay. The umpires deemed the ball out of bounds. We'll have a throw up. Wunke v Jessen in the ruck. So let's see. Jessen, experienced campaigner, gets first hands on it. The umpires said you've put your hand in the back of Nick Wunke.
I think he put his whole body in his back, but
yeah,
didn't push.
And look, no one's standing the mark. So Harris Jessen's walked away. He's the tallest player
If anyone, he should be running to the goal line.
It was just some simple stuff, mate. Harris Jessen is either on the goal line or he's standing the mark. So let's have a look who's standing the mark for Henley. The smallest player there.
Yeah.
I mean, just poor footy all round that.
I'm just trying to gift wrap Glenunga a goal here.
Nick Wunke, just inside 50. Looks good off the boot. Looks very good off the boot. Has it got through? Calabro there on the line. It has. That's a good long kick from Nick Wunke. That's his first from a free kick. Imagine if he had to, it just got on the line. Imagine if he had to go back 30 centimetres because Jessen was standing the mark. It wouldn't have made the distance, Phil.
Well, let's have a look at the Simon Black Academy replay.
Look at that.
Well, I reckon he probably still would have got it, but
would have been line ball, wouldn't it?
Would have been a bit closer. Alrighty. So Henley had a good 5 minutes and Glenunga get one inside 50 in goal. And it's often been the tale of this story. 23 and a half minutes gone in the third quarter. 31-point footy game. The league leaders looking for win number 12. Just keep ahead of Foss Camden, who they'll meet in a couple of weeks. That will be at Webb Oval.
William Staples, good tackle there on Sean Baker. A lot to like about young William Staples, isn't there? He's tough and aggressive at the footy.
And there were a few wins. Been a few team changes and jumper changes from last week that I think we're on top of.
Yeah, you can see what the coach likes about him. Anyway, we're in tight again. Ball does spill forward for Henley. Wow. Coming very hard at it there for Henley and lifting his elbow. Sean Baker just making sure this time if I'm going to get tackled, I'm going to make you feel it a little bit. Love a little bit of aggression. Jessen, beautiful tap. Henley, can they get it off the ground? They do. Stand up in the tackle. The umpire's paid a free kick. Not sure what that was for. Phil, if you got that against Eagle, I think. I couldn't see it either.
It was pretty early in the piece, that's all I'll say.
So Glenunga out of the centre square. Plenty of nut players there for Henley. No one able to take a mark. Glenunga keep their feet nicely. Now charging hard off the half-back line. Henley, courtesy of Joel Harvey Friel. They go towards the boundary line. It's kept in play by Glenunga. No left-hand handball there. Right-hand handball across the body.
Ooh, that's a high one.
Yes, that is indeed.
It's still high.
Yeah, that was against the goal kicker. And Glenunga locked on their half-back line. Will they go long down the line? Not a lot of other options here, unless they're going to go back 30 metres like Henley. They decided to play the percentages. Long down the line. Why wouldn't you when you've got some of the aerial power they've got up forward? Sam Parsons, he always gives you a strong contest in the air, doesn't he? Like the look of him.
We had 5 goals in the first quarter. We had 3 goals, all to Glenunga in the second. We have had 7 goals. Game high in the third quarter.
Sam Parsons and Nick Wunke go when Michael Wunke and the other bloke come back into their forward side. Speaking of Nick Wunke, poor old Jack Calabro, he's at a quarter that he's not going to forget that's play on, but thought better of it, did Nick.
Not much of a pocket to work around here, is he?
Yeah.
And, of course, sometimes they use the boundary line to work the angle, but there's no fence. He can go back as far as he wants.
Yeah. Now, that's poor defence there by Henley. He's kicked it inside. James Wunke, was it brother to brother? Would he have kicked it back if it wasn't his brother? Don't know. You'd have to ask Nick that.
What if there was some secret signal? Well, here's the thing. James Wunke hasn't kicked a goal this season. Didn't kick a goal last year.
Right, and guess who's standing the mark? The same bloke who stood
Snow
the last
White's.
mark. The last one.
Snow White's housemate.
Yep. This time, you don't get the purchase on it that his brother got. But wow! That is a highlight of the day, but I think the umpire's paid a push. He has.
Yes.
And that was Michael McMahon who's took the mark of the day, only for it to be disallowed. So, wow, that was a bit stiff.
So what happens if that comes in between the posts?
Well, we can't play it.
Because it's not a mark, it can't be marked. Yeah, I guess.
No,
Bad luck.
It's not a mark. Beautiful take below his knees. That Henley player bursting off the half-back line. Followed his work up nicely. He's got it now. Didn't quite see his number. But Lockie Sheffield ends up with it. Goes forward now. Moves back to the goal kicker, Joel Harvey-Friel. He comes back inside to Jake Cook. He plays on. I like this. Take the game on. He does, and he bangs it in long. Jesus, a good kick, wasn't it? Real
penetrating,
searching kick. Ask Glenunga the questions, are they good enough? Once again, they outnumber the Henley players on that last line, but wow, he got some real purchase on that kick, did Cook.
Probably about a minute left of this third quarter. It's 31 points, and given it has been a low-scoring game, you think that's too far for Henley, but a goal before the siren will give them some momentum to take into the last break. And there's been a bit of a pushing. I think Pillion pushed his opponent, Rams ball.
Given away a few free kicks in the front half of the ground, haven't they, Henley?
Yeah, defensive Glenunga has been solid today. This is James Wunke, probably a little bit more comfortable down this end than he is the other. Not all. I guess when you got Michael running around, he pretty much takes all the forward duties in the family game, wouldn't he? Someone's got to play defence.
Not sure he's played that many for the year. 3 games, is that right?
James Wunke's played, this is his 10th. He played 2 at A-grade level last year and 13 in 2019.
What about Michael Wunke?
I don't have Michael's stats because he's not playing today. But I can look him up. He's
doing some pretty strong assistant coaching work on the sidelines. Got a fair bit to say. Obviously, probably looking after the front half of the ground. You would think he's been an assistant coach in the SANFL system at both Sturt and Woodville West Torrens. So he's certainly been around footy for a while in the coaching department. Glenunga pushed the ball forward, but only as far as Jack West. Jack West in the gum tree. And that ball spills out of bounds. A lot of people there sitting on the Stormwater, a good crowd, as we mentioned before. A few dogs out there.
Couple of bicycles.
Yeah.
Community feel. I mean, it's the community game. What else would you think? And Michael Wunke has played 4 games this season and kicked 11 goals.
Right. So averaging 2.5, just over 2.5 a game. Harrison Jesson takes it out of the ruck. Kicks it in long. Let's see what we get from this time. And there goes the siren. As Peter makes his way out on the ground. This 3/4 time score here at the Shark Park is Glenunga 10 goals 5, leading Henley 5 goals 4. And how many goals for that quarter, Phil?
We had 8 at half time. We had 15 now. 7 goals for the quarter.
Goals.
Henley kicked 3 goals 1, and Glenunga beat him, kicking 4 goals 1. Very quickly, the goal scorers before we take the break for Glenunga. 3 to Sammy Parsons on debut and Michael McMahon. Singles to Harry Prosser, Nick Wunke, Jack Scott and Liam Bennett. For Henley, 2 to Thomas Pillion. Singles to Joel Harvey-Friel, Cody Eagle and Ethan Miller. We'll take a break. This is a Filming Footy production.
So the Simon Black Academy is in 4 states. It's a 3-pillared program. So one is the education component through the Torrens University. Second one is the development of their AFL skills, helping their player to become the best player they can possibly be. But the third one is, as you mentioned, a leadership and growth program. So it's an academy that combines both education and Australian rules football. A perfect opportunity for kids who like football. They get exposed to AFL coaches, mentoring, but they also get their hand held as they do a university degree. So the first 12 months is a diploma in Sports Management Elite, and if the students elect to stay on for a further 2 years, they end up doing what's called a Bachelor in Business Management with a sports focus. Based out of Norwood Oval for a couple of days a week in the Arc at Campbelltown. Yeah, it's a fantastic program. So for anyone out there who's interested in getting on board, loves football, extend your education with a Torrens University degree, feel free, check out the website simonblack.com.au.
Check out Catch, where everyday Aussies are getting great deals, like Justin's Timber Rake, Sylvester's Cologne, Celine's Dijon, and Camilla's Pasta Bowls. For millions of products, everyday Aussies, check out Catch.
And welcome back to Henley Memorial Oval, 3/4 time. Let's go to Peter Walsh at the huddles.
Phil, Glenunga pretty controlled, nothing more than just directions being passed on to their players, and very happy with the number of times when they went inside 50 they were able to convert. And to the other extent, when I wandered down to Henley, when the players all got together, they all walked past, slapped each other on the hand and said, hey, hang on, we're only 5 goals down. This will prove whether or not we are ready to play finals football. 6 games to go, and they're on the cusp of locking in a spot in the finals, but this is going to be tough. I like the way that Nathan Grimer just gently told his charges that they could finish off this mob and they could hurry home and they could score a big percentage victory. That's what they're after.
Thanks for that, Peter Walsh on the boundary. Thanks to Cam and Dartfish. Here's some stats with Jacko.
Yeah, so once again, Henley are able to control a fair bit of the ball in the third quarter, much like the first quarter. There's no breeze to speak of, so it's certainly not being driven by the wind, but inside 50s in favour of Henley, 11-7 that quarter. Hit-outs 15-9, so doing a good job in the ruck. And the clearances, I know they're not on the screen there, but we're also in favour of Henley, 10-7. So it's about whether they can get reward for their effort. Certainly controlling the ball in and around the stoppages, and they really just need to fight this game out, don't they, to the last siren. If they can keep this, I don't think they can win it. They've only kicked 5 for 3 goals, but if they can score another 3 goals this quarter and lose by 2 or 3 or even 4 goals, they would be content with the second half.
Well, they just can't let it blow out, Jacko, because percentage may well decide their finals outcome.
Yeah, James Wunke. And much like we got in the second and the third quarter, the first centre bounce is a neutral ball, and we'll have a restart. Punch forward this time by Henley. Sean Baker's there in best position, hooks the ball around his body, looking for Jackson Smith and Pillion. Smith it is that makes the contest, got the numbers forward. Will Glenunga be able to take this ball out easily? They don't, and that's much better pressure in the front half by Henley. Nice quick kick into their forward 50. Number 18 goes at it in the ruck. That's Ethan Miller. We're in the long sleeve. Glenunga again take the ball out too easily. And Lucas Tregarkis marks it almost in the centre of the ground. He goes to the wing, searching for his brother James Tregarkis. Why wouldn't you? Like the Wunke boys. They certainly wax a little bit. And a little bit of angst around the ball. Sean Baker in a bit of a pushing match, I should say, with number 23, which is Liam Bennett. Anyway, the umpire's paid a free kick. We've seen a bit of that in the ruck today, and one key has it. James kicks it long in the direction of Sam Parsons. McMahon's tackling in the forward line. Henley have got some numbers around the ball now, but Glenunga are able to get the ball into space. And 14 hooks that beautifully. Just a nice finish in the end by Nick Wunkey, wasn't it? That's his second. That was a good goal, probably about 30 metres. But the difference there was the Henley players are all, it's like bees to the honey pot. If you have a look at it, watch them all zero in on the ball. Here's the ball on the ground. Look at all the Henley players in and around the ball. 4 players. Yep. Number 31 sits out for Glenunga, as does Wunkey. I mean, you just got to be better than that. You can't have all your players swarming in at the ball. You've got to be able to cover the outside in the front half of the ground, Phil.
I do have some good. Tip.
No, Tip Rap was the old Milne that played for St Kilda. That was his
nickname.
Okay,
gotcha. Okay.
It's anyone who plays as a small forward, although he's actually playing the back half of the ground, so I'm not sure what that's about. How he got that nickname if he's playing as a defender. Maybe Rocky Butterworth. Who I haven't seen here today, the big rock star. Maybe he's at home watching it. He'll be able to fill us in.
I have a feeling he's keeping track of your commentary.
Is that right?
Just have that feeling.
I'd expect a bomb in the post if that's the case, based on the criticism of the lack of scoring today.
All right. So a few minutes into this final quarter, boundary throw in. 25s go at it. And in the end, no, Gasparin tries to get it. There was a Henley player who managed to get down lower than that. It did pretty well. Who was that? That's Timmy Broadbent, multiple best and first, as mentioned. And then we're back.
Do we have to pick a dartfish?
We have
you.
Match? No, not we. You.
Wow.
Have to pick a best player.
I have no.
We've got the thongs. We had the thongs. Where'd the thongs go?
I have no idea today.
I put the thongs on top of the crate behind you.
In the front there.
Oh, okay. I was set to go. Okay.
Any Glenunga people listening, feel free to text me through your nominations.
James has just given me a heart attack.
Best on ground.
Moving our prize.
So Wunkey out of the ruck, hooks it around the body. Calabro there against Nick Wunkey. And does a much better effort.
Who are you thinking so far, Jacko? You haven't been by the sounds of it.
I have no idea.
All right, well, hey, look, 25 minutes to go. It's there to be won.
McMahon's kicked 3. Sam Parsons has kicked 3 in a low-scoring game. That's 6 out of 11.
Yeah.
I guess if one of them kicks another one, we might go for a key forward. Trying to think who's been dominating around the ball.
So it has to be from Glenunga.
Well, if they're winning, if they continue to win like they are, you'd be hard-pressed to find a Henley player to win it. So, feel free to send your suggestions in, folks. I don't want to make a complete goose of myself after the game. Good, got one already, and a bit of advice that the tip rat comes from Darwin, and he actually played as a forward at Sturt. So, there you go.
How many players have come down from Darwin over the years?
Plenty.
It's quite, then they go back and play in the summertime as well, in the NT season. So Henley have got it. They're swinging it across. Calabro, you got a nice smoke, Calabro. He's groomed that very nicely. Kick though. Oh look, is it out of bounds? Is it not? I think it is because it's coming back with a worm burner to Zach Smith, who's found an open ram inside 50. This is Lucas. This is the 16-year-old. Is he going to go back and have a shot, son? No, he's going to do the right thing and hand off to Bo Schwartz. Gets in trouble. His little finesse kick wasn't right in the circumstances. And what was an opportunity for a shot at goal has just gone completely and utterly begging.
He tried to kick it with the outside of his foot. Real cute type kick. Wasn't over control of the tip rat.
I mean, I guess it is the day you could try something cute. The conditions probably allow. As you can see the girls' team for Henley getting ready, warming up behind the goals.
They'll be right this week too, Phil. Apparently trained very well during the week.
Well, they'll have a pretty good audience watching them too, I would say, by the makeup of this. And of course it all adds up to what community footy's all about these days. And we talk about Glenunga, 39 junior teams. And look, Henley has a fair number. Their numbers would be in the 20s at least.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Through to the A grade here and the girls as well. Everyone gets a game. That's what it's all about. I rest my case.
Jesson and Hunky. No love lost between those two players at the moment. Been a good battle actually. I've enjoyed that battle. A clear winner there. I think Jesson's had his probably his fair share of wins in the ruck, but neither player being dominant around the ground. They go it again. This time Hunky. Big bustling body. Gets it onto his boot quickly. Contest here in the middle of the ground. Anyone take the ball cleanly for God's sake. Plenty of numbers around. Young Sammy Parsons. Just couldn't quite take it. And this is the umpire that says he's 500th today, is it?
I don't
Doesn't
think
look
so.
old enough.
It looks like he's just out of school.
Yeah, Enright. Acts it forward. Glenunga. Plenty of players there. Go out the backs. Nice football. Thomas Beard. Sean Baker has got it though. Puts it forward, but only to see Darcy Mitchell stand in the way for the Glenunga Footy Club. He handballs out the back. Sam Abel. He switches the play to the far side. Don't know about this kick though. Harry Prosser was there, the ex-Paine of Norwood Union player, I think, Harry Prosser. Good player now for Glenunga for quite a while. Henley have it. Cook turn it over. Cook, the Crows top-up player, but he's given it straight back to Glenunga. And Harry Prosser clears it out of the dangerous back 50.
Said, to me, for someone who is a Crows top-up player, being a bit on the quiet side. You know it's getting cold because Walshy, who's endured winters in Ballarat and Tasmania, has donned a beanie, so it must be getting cold.
Sean Baker around the corner to Jackson Smith, but once again it's a 2v1. And Glenunga have all the answers at the front end of the ground.
Let's go to Peter.
One of the things I love doing is promoting the sponsors who've been so generous with their support. Archie's Footwear and a Dartfish beanie will be hand delivered to the BOG at the end of the game. I don't have to do that. You guys have to do that. I'll go out and I'll get him to come over near where we are and make the presentations. Thank you, Archie's Footwear and Dartfish beanies.
I like the fact that you're brave enough to put the beanie on, but what about the thongs, Pete? You put the thongs on.
The thongs are somewhere, but I won't conceal where they are, but you can imagination will work that out.
Hopefully we're keeping to the Australian definition. As the Sharks go forward, this is through Corso towards the 50-metre arc. Sharks looking for a late goal in this final quarter. Mitchell's been solid in defence today. It's right by that boundary. Kept in.
Wow.
Kick around the body. Has hit the behind post on the full. It's been that kind of day for the Henley Sharks.
Is it Lockie Sheffield, was it?
Could have been.
So you've been busy. Adrian Corso's been busy for Henley, hasn't he? Busy staying the mark on a few occasions, but busy also around the ground.
Well, he took a job that nobody else really seemed to want.
Yeah, next week, Adrian, after you've seen the replay, don't stand the mark, get some of the taller players to do it, and you get back behind the ball. Here we go. Oh! Right in front of us. Jack Calabro takes a contender for the mark of the day, but just spewed it at the last minute. But gee, it was a good leap.
We've had a couple that could have been, should have been, but in the end haven't been. Sinor ducks the head. Somehow was given enough time to get rid of the ball. Now Gasparini's tackled, and the umpire says, "I'll give you no time whatsoever."
Jack Calabro running around like and he's just turned it over, Jack. His last couple of minutes have been exciting. He's thrown himself for the contest and then won himself a free kick, and Alex Haran wins it straight back off him though. He kicks it into their forward line. Ball's taken by James Lean. They come towards Sean Baker on the boundary side.
Beautiful kick. Have a look at that kick.
Can't see anything.
As it ended up with Abel. I'll help you out, Jacko, because I've got the TV here.
Good.
Bo Schwartz from the edge of the centre square heads towards the hot spot, 40 metres out. Pack flies, spills out the back. Lucas Trigakis tries to get it. Plenty of navy blue, though, for the Sharks, and they have enough poise to clear for the moment. Ends up with James Lean. He doesn't like that way. He'll go the other way. It's not marked, but Bailey Clamas didn't have any opponent. He'll kick it out towards my laptop group, so it doesn't go far enough. There's a Bo Schwartz. No, it's coming. No, he's just found a teammate. Okie dokie. This looks like Jack Scott.
Great Scott.
With the red boots today. Too far out to score. Puts it inside 50. Here's McMahon. And could this be the kick for the beanie?
Nice little crowd over that side too, isn't it? In front of the
love that rug.
Players. The Kiddies Jungle Gym or whatever it is. Yeah, I can see the rug you're talking about now. This is McMahon and he's going for his
I feel
fourth.
warmer just looking at it.
It's his fourth of the day, Phil. Be a contender for the Dartfish Man of the match. Doesn't make the distance. Both sides go willingly at it. No one able to take it. And spills through for a point. Still looking for nominations for Glenunga's BOG.
Do you want me to check the YouTube feed and see if we've got any... you want to phone a friend, do you?
Yes. It's been... this is the most challenging game we've had this year to find the best on ground. Half back we are now for Henley. Turning inside out was Luke Gray. They go down the wing now looking for Jackson Smith. He pushes his player under the ball, does it well, but unfortunately for him, ball spills out of bounds.
There's the laptop boys. See, I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah, what are they doing? They've actually
stopped. The Glenunga lads, are they statistising the game?
Statisticians, are they, do you think?
I'm just not sure, but it's got me absolutely intrigued.
They're a long way from the coach's box to relay that information, but technology is an amazing thing.
Yep. I mean, if they were sitting there on their phone, I wouldn't look twice. It's just that they're using...
Dartfish stats, maybe?
Yeah. Potential Dartfish statisticians.
Paddy Signall there. Both rucks go at it. No one able to take it. Glenunga worked the white ball away, although Henley got it again here. Plenty of numbers there.
Nicely done.
Yep. Nice passage of play. Bring the ball to this side of the ground. It's Cody Eagle. He looks forward. This player's ran on exceptionally well there. Jack Enright, I think it is. He goes towards Jessen. He marks it beautifully at full stretch. Almost collides with the whole Glenunga box. Could have taken a few out like the old Norwood player did years ago.
Sturt
box. Ran into Jack Odie, was it?
Yep,
Wynn?
Yeah.
Johnny Wynn?
That's it.
Oh! Jackson Smith. All players now trying to win the mark of the day. They figure the game's lost, so they'll have a crack at the mark of the day. And, big brute of a lad, isn't he? Harrison Jessen, he is in fine condition. He's as fit a looking player as I've seen, and strong as players I've seen in this Adelaide footy league this year. Miller versus Wunke. Miller in front. Hits it towards the boundary line. No one can keep it in. And, young boundary umpire today. He looks about 15. Is there a minimum age we've got to be to umpire?
Don't forget, this is Div 2.
Yep.
As the Breakthrough Mental Health Foundation Division 2 umpires found a free kick will go the way of
Ethan Miller.
He's kept the long streams. And no, Jacko, no comments on the YouTube.
Thanks for
you are on your own.
Thanks for your support and help at home, folks. For
Would
nothing.
you like a hat for me to put some names in for you? As the kick looking for Jackson, has he taken a mark? No, we're not having any marks today.
He tried to convince the umpire that he'd taken the first bite, didn't he? But
let's quickly go to Peter Walsh.
Phil, Oliver Gasperin off, but nothing serious, just a bit of a dicky shoulder that he's sitting down, has been attended to, and so he probably won't come back on, but just a little bit of a knock on the shoulder earlier today.
Is Dicky shoulder any relation to Dicky knee?
It could be.
Okay.
Geographically, they're close together.
As Henley try and move it forward, they'll create the stoppage inside the forward 50 arc. We're 16 minutes of the final quarter. Margin 37 points.
How many goals this quarter?
1.
Short on the boundary throw-in. Plenty of numbers around the ball. And guess what? We'll have another restart. All players, if we pan back behind the footy, no players forward of the mid-line. So we've got 36 players in a relatively congested area, so it's going to be difficult to get the ball into any space. Enright has a good crack at it, but he's gang tackled there by 2 and 3 Glenunga boys. Sean Baker says, good effort, mate. Out you come, and don't forget to bill Jacko with the electrical job during the week. Jessen, I like that, hits it into the corridor. It's taken by Jesse Temmie for Glenunga, and he's wrapped up in a tackle by Sean Baker, and we'll have a dangerous spot here for Henley. About 15 metres out, right in front of their goal. Jessen has a crack at it. Ball spills, Baker's at the bottom of the pack. Plenty of numbers once again around the ball. Need to protect the outside a little bit here, Glenunga. First at it, courtesy of Zachary Smith. And now they bomb the ball out. And guess who? The man of the match contender, McMahon. He gets it on, no mucking around there. Look at the space they've got to work into now, the Glenunga boys, with a quick transfer of play. But that is, I would have thought, holding the ball. He's conducted a 360. Play on. We're in the centre corridor.
With Kiddo from centre half back. Brings it across. Let's see if the players are getting tired and this opens up a little bit. Joel Harvey-Friel has a goal from the third quarter. Centre wing. Looks for a lead on 50 and right on the Shark logo. Jackson Smith takes it. Too far out to score. Here's Harvey-Friel. Takes the hand pass. About to unload for goal. Good smother by Marchette. And it will be a throw it inside the Sharks forward 50.
Good battle between those two players today, Phil. Zachary Smith, number 4 for Glenunga, up against Jackson Smith. Don't know if they're related, Jackson and Zachary, but it's been a good battle all day and I've enjoyed watching that one.
So the kick around the body, this is by Zeke Scott. Did it get touch? No, it did not. It will be Glenunga ball. Next week, Jacko, we get back up to Div 1. We're at Adelaide University Oval.
Oof, well, they're getting belted today, aren't they? 20 goals
Uni
behind.
and Tea Tree Gully.
Yep.
Hectorville and Paraka will be our community game. That will be from the newly renovated Daily Oval at Hectorville.
Alrighty. Plenty of players go at that one. No one able to take it. Best position was Bailey Clemaz. He takes it. Once again, he's gang tackled. And umpires paid a high tackle. So Bailey Clemaz plays on nicely. Onto the left foot. Hits the dangerous spot. Have a look at the Glenunga players there. There's 4 of them there. Joel Harvey-Friel and Sean Baker for Henley. Outnumbered considerably. And once again, plenty of numbers in this third or quartet of the game. Boundary run by Steps right in. Throws it up. Let's get a highlight. Let's get a goal for Henley while we got it here. Give something for the local crowd to cheer about, but nothing doing because Jack Scott kicks it quickly. It's been caught by Henley though. They still have it. It's alive. Just need to get something on the end of this kick. No one there. And then a ground ball fumble.
This looks like Sheffield about to get caught. Holding the ball. So just as Henley a couple of times they looked like they could sprint away with it. Held up by him. He had to give a most valuable play. You'd say the Glenunga defence.
The whole defence?
Unfortunately, we don't have enough thongs or beanies. There's another throw into a rise. Into time on. Glenunga 11-6-72. Let's go boundary side to Peter Walsh.
Well, one of the things that you don't miss because it's here in our faces is the banter between supporters who decide to lip a player.
Yeah.
And the player turns around and has a look. And the supporters say, that is the red flag for us to go for broke. And it brings back so many memories.
Of you.
It's a way of which...
In the terraces.
It's good. It's fun. There's nothing wrong with it, provided it doesn't go silly.
Yep. Speaking of going silly, that kick from Henley gone in the forward line. It's been well smothered by Lockie Sheffield. And, well, I reckon they've had a fair bit of the ball again this quarter, Henley. They certainly haven't stopped trying. You've got to give them some credit for that. Would have been nice to see him. I think we mentioned at three-quarter time, if they could keep this goal to a game to a 3-goal margin, they'd be pretty happy with that result. Probably just need a goal now, and they're not far off that. They'll be back to within 4 goals. But the Glenunga defence has stood tall all day. They do have a player there on the bottom of that pack.
I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, he looks injured, number 1, Lincoln Bennett. Hopefully he's okay. Mr. and Mrs. Bennett at home watching the game. Henley have been
Just want to see if number 23, Liam, goes over to offer any brotherly support.
Henley have had the last 5 inside 50s as the trainer for Glenunga makes his way out to see Lincoln Bennett. He's got up, which is a good sign.
He doesn't want to go off, but I think he's going to be told to sooner or later by his teammates.
Well, nothing to be gained now, is it? What are we,
No.
21 minutes into the quarter?
He can barely hobble, let alone run. Good
Too
try
high.
there by Sheffield.
Nice.
Taken down by Prosser, and he's got himself a free.
Nice take at pace, wasn't it? That was. I don't know if we get a replay of that, but he was flying through there and took it clean as a whistle. Fantastic footy. Going to have a shot on goal, Phil.
Well, he's within range. I mean, there has been no breeze to speak of today, of consequence. So it's not like one team's had it or not. That's put up into the goal line again.
Jackson
Another attempt at goal of the week. Not to be. Glenunga to clear.
And clear they do. Into the hands of Liam Bennett, I think it is, yes. He's looking, going to go short. No, decides to go a little bit longer than he originally looked at. He's kicked it to the captain of the side, Alex Haran, who's been pretty solid today as well. He's looking for options, goes short, and just barely 15, but it's been paid by the umpire. It's William Staples. Looks like a bit of a go to me, William Staples. He's 3 is the indication from Phil. 3 minutes to go. Yep, okay, so there is a mercy rule. It's not been applied today.
Can't
Jack
wait
Scott.
to see who you choose for the...
I can't wait myself. Jack Scott.
Do you want a dart for a dartboard?
Dart for Dartfish. Jack Scott bangs it in long. Just need someone to take a hanger at the front end for Glenunga and make our job so much easier. Nice handball from Henley. The hyphenator, Harvey Friel. Can he pick it up? He does, then drops it like a sack of hot potatoes. Again, little William Staples keeps the ball alive for Glenunga.
They have a chance here with Lucas Tragakis. Kick towards the forward 50. Can't be marked. Sharks will take it off hands and clear. Into the long shadows here, but only as far as James Tragakis.
Is he a contender? Please, someone from
Well, he's not going to kick
Glenunga.
a goal from there, I'm pretty sure.
Give me a nomination.
80 metres out. He shows no willingness to move with speed. Why would you? You're up by 37 points. This is Beard towards a big pack. And it's going to be a free kick. And here's an interesting nominee. Nick Wunk. Oh no! Look who it's going to. Michael McMahon has the ball. Jacko says, "Hang on, hold the phone."
Hallelujah, Michael. Need you to kick this goal, son.
Now, we call it iconic, the Dartfish beanie.
Yep. So this is for his 4th, Phil?
Yes.
He's probably done that many times before. Not sure he realises there's a beanie riding on this one, though. He steered it straight through the middle. And there is our Dartfish player of the match. 4 from 12. He's got 33% of their score.
Late news too from Glenunga. Lincoln Bennett flew high for a mark about 2 or 3 minutes ago, fell heavily. The trainer's been out to check him out, and he's now off the ground being treated. Hard to work out just if there's any serious stuff, but he really flew high and thumped into the terra firma, and that's a bit sad. With only a minute or so to go, he's being treated by the trainers now.
Thanks for that, Walsh. Yes, last thing you want to do is get injured seriously in time on of the final quarter in a match that's well won.
So just the one award today, Phil?
Yes, it is.
No Simon Black Academy Player of the Day. Glenunga, can they get the ball out of the middle and get it back into McMahon, get him 5 goals, make it much easier for me to give him that award. It's in his direction now. It's Nick Wunke, I reckon he's going to get a free kick. No, the umpire's let it go. Calabro for Henley. Handballs to number 15, Luke Gray. He goes towards Broadbent. And looks like he might have hurt his knee there, I think. Timmy Broadbent, he's banging the grass. No, he's just frustrated with himself for not taking the ball cleanly there. So we have a throw in inside inside Glenunga's 50. Margin is 7 goals. So we talked about, keeping it to 3 or getting it to 3 for Henley being a great achievement. It's blown out now to 7, and it's probably not where they wanted it to be. Well, that's hacked out of the ruck with a kick from the Henley player, but Glenunga, all the answers, and the skipper, Alex Haran, gets the ball. Goes towards the forward pocket. Unfortunately, it's not McMahon who's got it.
Got excited for a second as the siren goes. Wanky to have a shot, I think, is it? No, it's Fletcher Wiseman, who hasn't kicked a goal today. So, hold fire on the scoreboard for just a moment. And it has been a good final quarter for Glenunga. They've slowly but surely eked their way.
Is it Wiseman or Wiseman?
Well, that's a good question. I'm probably going to go Wiseman.
Yep.
And he finishes it with a bit of icing on the cake for Glenunga. They go to 13-6. That's 84. Henley 5-5-35. And that's his first goal. He is Glenunga's 7th goal scorer today.
Yes, well, I know I'm procrastinating a little bit for the man of the match.
We've already decided it.
Oh.
We've already told Walshy.
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, mate.
I finally got a suggestion from a Glenunga person on the phone, and he's gone with Macca, which is who we've given it to. So
that's just
gee whiz, are we a good judge or what?
So this is of course Walshy's first time doing banjo writing for us. He's done a great job. Yeah, he's got the hand up. Fantastic. So let me just quickly go through some goal scorers. This won't take too long for Henley. But for Glenunga, 4 to Michael McMahon, 3 to Sam Parsons on debut. That's going to be an interesting 1-2 punch going forward. Nick Wunke with 2, singles to Harry Prosser, Jack Scott, Liam Bennett and Jack Marchette. Fletcher Wiseman, on the siren. The Henley Sharks, 2 to Tom Pillion, singles to Joel Harvey-Friel, Cody Eagle and Ethan Miller.
Good to see Brian Lees here today too.
Wow.
Phil, who's obviously got a foot in both camps, having been a double premiership coach at Glenunga, now involved at the Henley Sharks. Not sure he would have been happy with the result, but in the end, an 8-goal margin, which is probably not a true reflection on the game, really, was it? It blew out a little bit in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
A little bit, but Glenunga looked home from halfway through the second quarter as we go Bandry side to Peter Walsh and our most valuable player.
B-O-G in the bold right in front of you. Michael, congratulations. 4 goals. A tough gig today. It was never easy, but you always look like you held sway. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. That's probably the most complete game we put together for the year. We've really battled hard the last 4 or 5 weeks in wet weather. Today with the bigger ground we could open it up and really play an attacking style, so it was a good win.
Looked like everybody put their hand up too. It wasn't just 1 or 2. When there was a need for everyone to play the game, they did.
Yeah, I caught time. We had a few guys that needed to lift, and we really responded after a rocket from the coach, so it was good.
What did he say?
I just said need a lift around the contest, and after that we didn't really give him a sniff.
Well, I'm going to let your mates give you a serve in a moment, but I'm going to firstly pass on the beanie. Put it on. Put it on. Oh, no, mate, that's going to do the head all sorts of good. Now, you don't have to put on the Archie's footwear unless you really want to.
I don't want to.
I think that he should put them on. Yes or no?
No.
All right, let's get serious. 4 goals, that's good stats.
Yeah.
How would you rate your performance when you left the ground today?
Probably a 6 out of 10. It was one of my better games in a couple of weeks, but still dislocated the finger, dropped a few marks, can be a lot better. So
what's wrong with the finger?
Dislocated it earlier in the game.
But you jagged that straight back in, didn't you?
Yeah, well, hurt like I can't say that word. Yeah, that's right.
Did you take the mark of the day or not?
Oh, I thought I did. I told the umpires, why did you pay the free kick against after that? But I'll have to get the footage and have a look at it.
Okay. And look, this is exactly what you want now. You've got, 5 more games to go before the finals. You're sitting on top. You've only been beaten once. There seems to be some really good chemistry in the group, everybody putting their hand up.
Yeah, we've got a lot of young kids that really just play their role, and it just brings the youth, brings the excitement to the older guys, so it's great.
Well done. And you realise, of course, that the Dartfish beanie is worth a lot of money.
Yeah, you won't see it on eBay, that's for sure.
Also, Archie's Footwear, and we thank them for being so generous with their sponsorship. And we say to you, our BOG man, Michael McMahon, 4 goals in the winning team. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Good on you, mate. Well done.
Well done to
Michael's
Peter.
a winner. Of course he's a winner. He walks away with a beanie on his scone, and he's got some thongs he can wear into the wee small hours of some suburb tomorrow morning, and he'll love that. Phil, it's yours.
Thank you very much, Peter. Well done on debut with the beanie. Alrighty.
Probably
So
more appropriate the thongs for a Henley player, Phil, given that we're in the beachside suburbs.
I was about to say, yeah. So here's some final quarter stats. And a game that did sort of fizzle out a little bit.
Yeah, hit outs in favour of Henley again, so did a pretty good job in the ruck most of the day, Harry Jessen. Tackles, Glenunga were pretty good in that area all day, and inside 50s were in favour of Henley, and yet what did they score goal-wise that quarter?
They scored 1, I think.
1 to... Actually, they finished with 5.
No, they didn't score at all.
Score any. So...
No, Glenunga scored 3 goals to 0 in that final quarter.
So that's a challenge for Vinnie Regola and the whole Henley Footy Club, isn't it? Try and get better, more efficient with the ball inside their front half of the ground. 10 inside 50s without 1 goal. It's not something that you want to rave on about. It's something it's got to be obviously going to be a work in progress. But as you mentioned, the Broadview Scotch result may favour Henley and keep them well and truly alive, and that makes next week's game, which is here, isn't it, Phil?
It is indeed. Division 2 next week. Scotch hosting Foss Camden, and Scotch are being a bit competitive. That should be interesting. Old Ignatians and Sacred Heart will be fascinating as well. 2 teams in the 5. Athelston and Seaton Ramblers will have relegation ramifications, and Salisbury North will be the team where Glenunga will travel to next week, leaving Henley and Broadview the game of the week in Division 2. Alrighty, I think we're not too far from wrapping up today. I think we've done the interview, the stats. It was a easy victory to Henley in the Bs, an even easier victory to Glenunga in the Cs. So it might be time just to... Any best players that you thought were unlucky not to get the beanie? I'm just ticking off my list.
Yes. No, there was a host of good players from probably Glenunga in the main. Their defence, you'd have to think their defence was very sound, keeping Henley to 5 goals all day, and Mitchell and Beard, their 2 key defenders down there, very good. The tip rat, Bowie Schwarz, down from Darwin. He wouldn't have liked the cold weather here today. Jack Matchett, the young kid, 16-year-old kid. The Tregarchus boys were good. Wonky was good in the ruck. I like the skipper's game, Alex Haran, and we mentioned Michael McMahon, but don't forget Nick Wonky up forward also kicked 3 goals.
Not a lot of passengers.
No,
I think we called everyone's name a fair bit through the course of the day.
A very solid effort. And for Henley, well, I thought Jackson Smith's battle was pretty solid all day with number 4 for Glenunga, Zachary Smith and Jackson Smith. They certainly had a crack at each other all day. Kiddo around the ball was solid. Cook, Enright had his moments. Jessen was good in the ruck. James Lean and Timmy Broadman across the back half certainly tried hard. And I liked number 9's game, Paddy Sinor, and number 13, Adrian Corso. But back to the drawing board, I think, for Henley for next week. That's what it's all about for them now, isn't it?
Indeed. Alrighty, time to say thank you to our crew. I want to thank Tim, our producer. First time we've worked together, gone beautifully. Thank you, Tim.
Isn't he an operator?
Indeed.
Hey?
James and James giving us all the angles, and Cam the stats. Peter Walsh, what a pleasure having you on the boundary side.
Is Lambo's job in
I reckon Lambo's got to have a look at the tape. And I think he'll join us next week at Daily Oval. Thank you for your contribution.
To starting my days in teenager years, at country football.
Black and white TV.
And you just cannot get more because people love it. And they'll walk away and they'll talk with each other and have a cold one. They'll be friends, but they'll come again next week. Thanks, fellas.
That was
Very
radio.
enjoyable.
That was radio back then, Pete.
Yeah, that was the real world.
Jacko, thank you again. We go back to Div 1 next week.
Thank
Uni
God.
Oval.
I mean, yes, no, it's been good here at Shark Park. Challenging at times, I've got to say. Not the greatest angle for where we were situated today to be able to call it, but it's been good fun. And we thank you all for tuning in and watching the game, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks for that, Jacko. Alrighty, don't forget, folks, for all the news around the Adelaide Footy League, the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page, there'll be the weekend wrap. There'll be Between the Posts during the week. Vote for the goals and marks of the week. All the news, movers and shakers, the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. We'll be at Uni for Uni and Teacher Galley Div 1 next week. The community game, Hectorville and Paraka. This is Phil Hearn on behalf of the entire filming footy crew, the Army, the Armada, saying good night from Henley Memorial Oval.